Ladies, gentlemen, welcome back for yet another installment in the State of PvM podcast. Today, we are joined. Oh shit, hold on. I fucking forgot when it's minimized. The shit's broken. God fucking damn it. See, this is what I hate. Shit minimizes is like, oh fuck. But okay, I think we're good. I am joined here today with only the finest PvMers in the state of Gilmore. Alright? So, we have our hosts that normally join us. We have Mr. Toy Owner.
Good morning.
We have the one, the man, the myth, the attorney host, Mr. Hemmiez.
Hey, yeah, I was I was distracted. But yo, what's up?
We have our boy Kirby and what appears to be what is that?
I don't know. I'm hacking.
Well, wherever he is, he's there. And then we have two special guests with us today. Everyone probably knows him and loves him. The man himself, Mr. Gnomonkey. And
That's all.
a man who is good friends with Port Khazard and is also a legend coming up with some really neat stuff in the PvM community. If you guys haven't seen it, he also did a, what was it, No Mage Prey Inferno, was it?
Yeah, that's...
The man himself, Mr. Poenari.
Thanks for having me.
It is an honor to be joined with all you beautiful people today. So, as per usual, I will use this as an opportunity to do like a brief introduction for all of the hosts again. So, like our returning hosts. And then after that, I will let Mr. Gnomonkey and Poenari do like a full introduction to tell everybody who they are, what they do, what they're up to. So, Hemmiez, you can lead us in first.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sorry I don't have the standard attire that I would normally wear to something very high class, but yeah, I do believe we went over all the intros between us. Also, September. Doesn't matter if we call you September, Poenari.
I don't care. You can even call me Joel. That's what a lot of people call me as well.
Oh my
Joel from
God.
Skype?
Okay, we're on a
Yeah, the same
name
one.
basis.
Yeah.
All right.
I think so, I don't know. It's weird because in every community I go by a different name, which is kind of annoying. But
So, I mean, fuck it, we'll take it. But as far as I'm aware, if you haven't already followed, well, you don't have to follow September on Twitch, but you can definitely subscribe to his YouTube. He's done some crazy stuff. He's got the No Mage Prayer. He even made one of the first max efficiency guides on how to do TOB back before TOA when it was like incredibly popular. I'm sure it's still going to be popular, so there's going to be a lot of people going over there. Gnomonkey, he's been blowing up lately. He's been. Do you still have rec? I saw you got
no. Of course they
Yeah,
steal it
so
from me.
Yeah,
It's like it's 21:30 now or something.
Damn, that's unfortunate.
They stole it
Never
from
lucky.
the podcast. We cost you the rec, bro. It's cursed. I can't
How
believe
could you?
cost you. But he's taking the time out of his day to join us today to talk about what's happened with Raids 3. Like first perceptions, like is it good, is it bad? What do we think about all these changes that have occurred to it? And but he's been making guides for a long time. He's got a booming YouTube channel. He's got a booming Twitch channel. I'd say go follow, if not subscribe. So yeah, I personally, I didn't know what I was supposed to do. I was a little. So I
just
heard
wanted you
introductions.
to-
I gave you an introduction.
Oh, I was talking about like introducing yourself.
Oh, okay.
No, that's sweet. That takes all the stress off me.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Good in mind.
Wait, who
Yeah,
made-
right.
You want me to do your story or let Hemmiez do it?
And let him say all of them.
Okay, all right. I guess, dude. I woke up literally 60 minutes ago, and I'm already I woke up less than 60 minutes ago.
You're nailing it, Hemmiez. You're nailing it.
Yeah, so basically, I'm known for running Iris TOB. I want to run large scale events most of the time. So Iris TOB is something where you can do anything you want to secure MVP as long as you guys don't wipe. It's fine. So maybe I'll kill my teammates. Maybe I'll hog all the potions. Maybe I'll steal people's shit. Right? I can do whatever I want as long as we don't wipe. everybody pays a buy-in, and then the MVP wins the buy-in. So let's say if we paid 100 mil per person, the winner, the guy who gets MVP, is going to profit 500 mil. Well, he's not going to profit, but he's going to get 500 mil from the pot, right? So I've run tournaments for it. Had a tournament that had Sanity, Oblivion, Inferno, PvM, 5 members from each, as well as Addy, Kirby, Sido, Lane. There was too many. There was like Tasty. There's a lot of people. Very good tournament. That's mostly what I'm known for. Kirby, he's longtime PvMer in the scene. He's been doing a lot of great stuff, going for crazy challenges. Right now, I think he's the first person to have every single pet transmog off of ToA. He's
Possibly.
done a great video. Yeah, and I think you just are. I think you just are. So I would if you want, you can check out his YouTube channel. I think everybody here has a YouTube channel. Except
I'll probably have
ToA.
an outro at the end, gives everybody an opportunity to like post all of their socials so everybody can like send follows and stuff. I think that'd be fair to do at the end.
So Kirby's definitely a long time goat. He's done army skips. He's big brain too. I mean, like, we've got some big brain players here because September does a lot of calcs, I mean, he's friends with Port Kazard. I don't know what you want. That's about as good as I could describe it.
That's all you need.
Yeah, literally. Like, he'll come up with some crazy shit. But Kirby also has I think he even made the Leagues 3 DPS calculator, where he made the revised version that accommodated for Leagues 3. So that's really cool. Toy owner, longtime member of both Oblivion and We Do Raids, so he's one of the staff members. He teaches people, he's going to coach people. He's not a streamer, but his opinion is very valued because, well, he's been ingrained in the high-end community for a very long time, and he's a very helpful person. So,
Holy shit.
Sido, if you want to introduce yourself, I don't know if you want to.
I'll let you do it. I'm interested to see what you're gonna say about me, to be honest.
Sido is a crazy guy who does a lot of crazy things. He likes to make everything somehow Papega, but also efficient at the same time. He's not afraid. He's not afraid to do some crazy shit for some content. I've never seen a man dress up in a rat costume on stream. I've never seen a man go into both chambers, TOB, and Next for the sole reason of griefing kids. He went into my fucking tournament with a monkey in his backpack, he went into TOB tournament, right? 1.3 bill prize pool, and he took Guthin's a Saradomin Godsword. He was ice rushing crabs to make them fuck with people. He released a monkey and maiden. I was like, what the fuck is this guy doing?
That's Kirby tech right there too. Like, shout out to Kirby for that one.
He's running around, dude. He goes into Next voluntarily to just to rag kids with kegs with coughing. But I'd say the craziest thing is, like, don't count Sido out. His strongest asset is the fact that he's incredibly innovative, because when he sees something that, like, he's always constantly putting ideas together. The first instance would probably be, he's the person that came up with the NPC contact, he's the first person that came up with the NPC contact stall to create flies, like to stack them up all on one tick. It's previously been done with a rock cake, but he literally just goes into raids ragging poor 416 guys. He's an evil son of a bitch, because he'll just go in there and kill everybody and then tab out. And he starts laughing, and he's got to record it in a streamable, and he likes to act like he doesn't do it, but I know he does it. I know he does it, the little crazy guy. But yeah, so I mean, everybody here is a pretty high-end PvMer. I would like to say that, you know, all of us like to think about our opinions. Nobody here is just trying to gatekeep Reddit, as they would say. So, I don't know. I think we're just here. We've gathered here to think about the longevity of the game and what we would consider the best decisions for it.
Thank you, Mr. Hemmiez, for that beautiful introduction. I will add one note, though. I am probably considered one of the greatest inters in the game. And in terms of, like, content I love to specialize in, it's probably going to be CM5s. I'm just a guy that really loves doing, like, a lot of raid, like I love raids. I love raids so much, but especially CM5s. I've already been trying to lab out new setups and stuff. We haven't used them yet, but once ToA calms down, I will definitely be doing a lot of CM5s again. But I also like making some guides on the side too. I'm already thinking about making a guide for what was it, the Wardens. So I'm doing that and explaining easy ways to like dodge some of the specialists and stuff. So, yeah, I just like making some guides on the side or just innovating for CM5s. And on the side, maybe we rag a person or two for the sake of science. But anyway, without further ado, we should probably start looking at some of the questions. So first question we've got Jagex servers revisited. How has everyone been impacted by the servers? And we can talk about this before ToA and after ToA.
Who wants to start?
I'll start. Well, it's been pretty good for me. I've been waking up at 4 a.m. to play when the servers are good, so I've drastically.
And I've been
fixed my
playing
sleep
until 4 a.m., so we've got it all covered. The
All
only good
covered.
times to play the game. Mm.
Yep. But yeah, it's been something. I mean, they said they made a slight change to improve the servers a little bit. I don't know if I felt that much, maybe a tiny bit of a difference when we did that, but I don't know. I literally flipped my sleep schedule to a non-DGen schedule just to play when it's not shit.
It's kind of crazy to me, the fact that people have to adjust their sleep schedule just to be able to play at times where no one's on, whether it's to pot Inferno, because everybody knows Jimmy, Blowpipe OSRS, he was fucking potting DGen hours just to pot Inferno and not have shit worlds, right? I myself had to fucking play on UK because US East was just so terrible when I was going for my runs. I ended up getting diarrhea on a UK world, which was surprising, but
Yeah, personally, I live in US East. I've never played on a US East world because they're just so much worse. I'd rather play with 150 more ping just to have a slightly more stable world. Like it's just kind of ridiculous.
It's even more annoying because I have to play with people from like around the world, right? So I have people West Coast, I have people UK, or just all around the EU, right? And you'd think, oh, so the perfect middle ground would be to play on US East, right? Yeah, fuck no. US East, it's like, if you're not US East, you're going to get turbo shafted, and even if you are US East, you're still going to feel shafted. I play on US East at like 500 pop, and it feels like I'm playing on Oz, and Oz is more fucking consistent. I'm just like, what is this?
I've been playing Australia a little bit. Like, it's the only world's under 300.
Like, if you're West Coast, you're kind of blessed to be able to play on Oz, but for me, it's
At
like,
least.
I can play it, but I don't know if I can one-tick flick on them.
Bro, people from an area are so desperate they're starting to play on German worlds. That's when you know it's bad.
I swear it's actually good though. I remember near ToA release there was the at 466 was a world that everybody was going to. I just logged in. I was like surely this isn't good. This is like 170. Like it just can't. But I swear it was the most consistent I've ever felt during the entire week of ToA release. Now, granted, I didn't do that much ToA on release, but it was definitely like I felt like I was playing on my own server because personally, I'm NA East and I used to play NA East, but it's just lately it's like wow, it's been really fun.
I will say that after the update, I noticed like less sort of tick spikes. Like I don't feel like the worlds skip a lot of ticks anymore. At least they're still bad. Well, the server update they did, or the server maintenance, whatever they did.
I did not. I wasn't keeping track. You know, I haven't seen a difference. That's
yeah. I think it's a little.
Paying attention at the start.
It's a little too early to tell. We'll see. It's something to do with like NPCs. If they're like off the screen with no players near them, they'll like stop calculating their movement or whatever.
Yeah, they talked about that on the was it like this Q&A or the last Q&A? I can't remember, but they were talking about like doing more things to have it where the servers are doing less work, especially if there's like nothing there at all. So they'll just like freeze NPCs and stuff like that, just so it's a bit easier on us. But they also did say there's still a lot of things that they need to do in the background, so it's not an easy task. It just sucks because, you know, during release and a couple weeks after release, especially on Sundays, everyone feels it. The worlds are just terrible. Absolutely terrible, and just sucks when you're doing content, whether it's speedruns or anything that requires tick perfection, when you just get railed in the ass, trying to throw that 1 tick chin, fucking comes out 3 ticks later.
Well, it's weird because we're reaching a stage where it's not, you don't really have to be doing tick perfect efficient stuff anyway, right? Because I want to say like this is an issue that, you know, like endgame PvM players or whatever, they've been talking about it for a long time, but it's gotten so bad lately, especially with the ToA release, that like a lot of just regular players are understanding now. Because before it's like you might complain and then like someone who doesn't really play the game that much, or you know is just playing pretty casually, is going to be like, well, I don't really feel it that much. Like I'm not doing something that really requires it, and that's fine. But it's so bad now where even the casual player base is like what the fuck is this? You know, it's like you shouldn't be able to. It's already pretty bad when a small percentage of your higher end players are noticing something wrong. But now that like literally, I don't know what it's going to be, 50, 60, 70% of the player base is actively noticing like there needs to be work done. It's just like they can't ignore that anymore. Or if they do, then well, I don't think that's a very good business decision, but you know, now it's reached a stage where this is too public, this is too widespread for people to just fucking ignore it. And I hope that they're gonna do it soon. I mean, Modash did tweet about how there was the server maintenance, but I have no clue. Like, is it already done? I imagine them freezing the NPCs wasn't like the final step. I imagine there's probably more to do left, right?
So they did a little bit to improve the servers, and they're hoping we're gonna feel a bit of a change. But they said that's just like a start, and there is more on the way. Like that's just like a initial thing they did to improve the servers a bit.
Okay, yeah.
So there is more changes planned.
Ideally, maybe we could all like tweet a mod or something and ask if like they have a schedule, because I don't know. I mean, like leaving it like up in the air and nobody has any idea. It's not even like we need a specific date, right? Just an ETA would probably be good enough for a lot of players to just at least satisfy their anger for a little bit, because it's like right now it could be tomorrow, it could be a week from now, it could be 2 months from now, right? Like nobody fucking knows when this update's gonna happen. But as long as they could at least like give us a date, it's like okay, the scheduled maintenance is gonna happen like 3 weeks from now. People are gonna be like, okay, well, maybe I can wait for 3 weeks at least, right? But we just need a date out there. We need a date. So that's what I have to say about it.
I do have one more question that I can probably ask on this topic before we end this off. And if they were to halt all updates completely until servers get fixed, would you guys be okay with that?
Oh yeah, we just got ToA.
Yes.
We're good for another year.
2 years, 3. Oh god. Don't say that.
Like there's no big content coming, right? Like in the near future right now.
Not right now. They
Yeah.
haven't.
So like they should be focusing on the servers.
Yeah,
They're fixing ToA, but like yeah.
No, that's 100%. It's like I mean, let's say we did have big updates. My main concern there is just whether or not it's actually going to speed it up. Like if halting all the updates genuinely makes them like get this update out significantly faster to fix the servers and make it less laggy and make it handle more than a quarter of the designated population. A world is supposed to hold 2,000. You get more than 500 and you're already feeling lag. It's like it's crazy too, because now we actually have plugins to track it now. Tick tracker on RuneLite, you know, it can show you the graph, the distribution of all the good ticks, the bad ticks. It'll show you the variance if it's above like an extra 150 milliseconds. It's like what, an extra 25% on it. It's like you can't be having ticks that are 900 milliseconds long, right? If any listeners ever thought like, wow, you know, like that feels like lag, but I'm not really sure. It's like get the tick tracker plugin, install it. You'll be able to see, because sometimes you're just genuinely getting long ticks, sometimes you're getting short ticks. So, but I just don't believe. Well, it's not that I don't believe, but it's more so that like I'm not confident in the fact that if we did have a big update and we just completely stopped it from coming out until they fix the servers, I don't know if that would make it come out any faster. If it does, then 100% do that. But something, I don't know. Maybe I just don't have faith in Jagex.
Yeah, I was just throwing that question out as like kind of a theoretical, hypothetically speaking.
I mean, they can't stop all the people from working on new content because JMods do different things amongst each other. Like, you can't stop the graphics artists because, servers are down.
Yeah, nothing. It's not like anything's gonna happen there. So, yeah, I don't know if it would really speed it up in terms of whether or not the server maintenance gets pushed up quicker. But if so, 100%, that should be the number one priority right now, because that's something that doesn't just affect like players looking for new content. It's not something that just affects the PvM community. It's not something that just affects like fucking people who are sat there thinking like, wow, I really want something new to do. This just affects everybody. It just affects everybody. It doesn't matter if you're a PvMer, a skiller, a fucking a PKer. Like, everybody feels the servers, and it should 100% be their number one priority right now, just to fix. Like, ToA itself, like Toy mentioned that, sure, maybe they're doing some fixes right now. And yeah, there's still some tweaks for ToA that need to be done, but like, if not, that will pale in comparison to getting the server update faster.
Yeah, I agree.
That's my opinion. So
you could argue that server fixing is part of ToA.
It's the highest invocation, the fucking 300 invocation, just fucking playing 2K.
We're playing hard mode right now, for sure.
Oh yeah.
All right. Any last thoughts before we move on to question 2?
You can move on. I'm gonna get water.
All right. So the next question we've got, question number 2. Tombs of Amascut release and now. How did everyone feel about the raid armor release? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you like the difficulty scaling? Does it feel like it's rewarding? What did you feel needed to be changed? And we can also go into the changes afterwards and talk about like all the mechanics and what we'd like to see. This is of course broken down in a lot of subtopics, but yeah, I just want to see what your guys' thoughts were on the raid for release.
I made a video on release specifically about it. Now, it's so weird because ToA has gone through a rapid number of changes over the course of, like, let's say a week. And that is, so, like, I can try and run through it step by step if I remember every single update. But largely, I think that it was a good raid with good mechanics, and my only problem with it is I feel like they made a few choices which should have been, I don't want to say obvious, but I think a lot of players had a general consensus on a couple of these tapes that they took, right? Because like I don't think I would talk to mid-level players, low-level players, high-level players. Everybody I talked to was pretty much around the same consensus. They don't know why their entry mode is getting drops, right? It's like it's these weird things like that. It's like, why is entry mode getting drops? What's the other one? What experts don't feel like properly balanced, although that one is debatable because nobody knows rates. But there, and a couple people tweet out sample size on Twitter, which by the way is completely reasonable, right? Like, yeah, there's a small sample size, but then you get about like 500 people who just hear sample size and be like, oh yes, you're right, you very smart. So nothing, no information can be discerned whatsoever from what numbers we currently have. So anytime you said anything about the drop rates, people would be like, you can't say that, sample size and bias. It's like shut the fuck up. A couple of the guys knew what they were talking about, and then everybody else just started following them like a pack of fucking lemmings. It's like, you can use your brain, you can 100% discern some information, not obviously not with 100% certainty, but with some degree of certainty. You can sit here and be like, okay, well, this doesn't feel good enough. It doesn't feel good enough that we're running experts and everybody's getting dry, right? Because like, I can sit down and run 150s and I have like 8 different groups of friends. It doesn't matter where they are. Sanity, Vintage, Oblivion, all of these people, friends who are clanless, right? Everybody's just like, they run a couple experts. They're like, this is shit. And then they all started running 150s. They all started running 200s. And, that's not something that we really wanted on release. So it's like, now maybe everybody just got lucky, fair enough. Or everybody just got unlucky, which is fair enough. But stuff like drop rates scaling more linearly, or not even linearly, but like drop rates being more pronounced at higher values for Invocation was something that I definitely thought should have been out there. I definitely think don't have entry mode drops, because that was, I don't know, that one I didn't meet a single person who actually, like, before Tombs of Amascut came out, I did not meet a single person who thought entry mode drops should be there. Now after, I got a bunch of, well, I didn't even get a bunch of, I got a lot of people who still agreed with me, and then I got a couple people who were like, no man, I really need the 20 entry mode drops to come into the game on day one. And then even then I'd talk to them and I'd be like, well, 20 drops on day one off of entry mode is going to crash items by like 200 mil. Are you sure, like, is it worth it to satisfy 20 people who were doing entry mode and probably weren't even expecting a drop, right? Because we're talking entry mode. You don't do entry mode to get drops. The reason you're doing entry mode is usually to learn how to do normal mode, right? So if you don't get a drop from entry mode, you're usually not that pissed off. You don't feel like you've been robbed if you do a lot of entry modes and don't get a drop. It's the opposite or it's not the opposite, but that is not something we can say for normal and experts, right? So your entire purpose of doing entry mode is so you can get to normal mode. And to have it, so like when you get a purple off of entry mode, it's not even as like rewarding, because you don't feel, I mean, sure, maybe you feel great, but like it's not like something was being satisfied. You did not have a request and the request was not answered because they just kind of gave it to you, right? It's not like that was the reason I was doing entry mode. So to satisfy, or not even to satisfy, but to just give away like 20 entry mode drops to people who are doing that, and then crash the, I don't know, day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5 market by like 200 mil. Like I bought a light bearer on day 3 for 50 mil. I was like, this ring is so good. Why is this ring 50 mil on day 3?
Yeah, when I saw all the items are crashing, I'm just sitting there like, what the fuck is this?
Like,
why is everything so cheap? Only a couple of days in, like,
yeah,
what?
And believe me, I'm not here to say, because a lot of people commented on my YouTube video. They're like, bro, like you're a fucking elitist gatekeeping PvMer. It's like, I'm not saying that you can't do it. I'm not saying you shouldn't be able to do it. I'm not trying to make it harder for you. I just think that if we're on day 3 and a best in slot ring for so many different things, TOB, Chambers, ToA, which is currently the best money in the game, Nex, which is probably the second best money, if not the best money in the game.
I think it's best
like,
money.
It's best in slot.
Skilling, ulting, everything in the game, literally everything.
Everywhere. And it's 50 mil on day 3? 50 mil? That is just, you'd have to be so blindsided to look at that and say that is healthy for the longevity in the game. Because think about it, a week in, a month in, a year in, right? 6 months from now, this light bear is going to be 15 mil. It's like, what the fuck? This really reminded me of like Chambers, because like if people look back on this retroactively now and they're like, that was such a stupid decision, but I was the only one who fucking noticed it at the start. It's like Chambers on release, basically, prayer scrolls were 1/8 of their current drop rate. And then they split them up, so they doubled it. I thought that was fair. Then they doubled it again, which was like, sure, maybe. And then they doubled it again. And I was like, so why, right? So currently, like, their original value would have been like Dexes have 5 and Arcanes are 5. Currently, they're 20 and 20, right? So for the past like 3 years, an Arcane Prayer Scroll has been 800k. It's what, right? It's weird. It's like these are not decisions that like show respect for the long-term thinking of the game. because a one-time item for every account, you can only use the item once for every account. We're a month into Chambers release, and you've decided to make this drop rate 8 times more common. It doesn't make sense. And that's how I feel about this entry mode situation, where it's very clearly not 1 in 1,000. It's very clearly, it's so much lower than that. Like, it's probably like 1 in 100 if we're lucky, probably closer to like 1 in 50 to get a drop off of entry mode. And it's like there's 200,000 entry mode completions in the first week. It's like of course you're gonna crash the market for a lot of people.
The Billy Bobs.
Yeah,
Billy
and
Bobs.
like
Oh, boy.
some people are telling me it's like, well, that doesn't really matter in the long term, but which is a valid argument. But the thing is, it affects the most crucial time of this piece of content, right? Because the most attention that Raise 3 is ever going to get is right at the start of release. It's going to be what everybody remembers. It's going to define the raid. It's in the same way that you look at TOB and you're like, holy fuck, that was so hard because like Wooks and Bodhi couldn't do it for a whole day and a half. It's like, well, TOA is not hard now, right? But everybody still remembers that because that's what defined it. The thing that defined TOB was the fact that for the first month, 2 months, it was considered the hardest content in the game. Everybody was like, oh my god, there was hype that generates marketing. Everybody was watching it and everybody wanted to see, holy fuck, like what is going on, right? This is easily the most important time for the release of content. And if you crash the drops right at the start, you're killing a lot of that hype. And that affects the game in more ways than just like, oh, well, the market's going to recover in a week or a month. It's like, yeah, but you've killed the hype, essentially, right? And that's more grave of a mistake than anything else. You can't kill the hype of your piece of content right on release. Because we're 3 days in and people already hate themselves when they get a fucking light bearer. It's like that. It just should not be like that. It should not be like that at all.
Every time you see a light bearer in clan chat, everyone just like,
Or a
lol,
ward.
lol, lol.
Yeah,
Or the ward. I'm surprised the ward is so fucking cheap.
And people, so I mean, the ward, fair enough because it's not used with the shadow, but tons of people, like I remember on probably like the first week, people have started to realize now, but definitely people saw the light bearer, they saw the fang, they're like, shit item. Like, okay, maybe if you're a main, but then I was still seeing Iron Men get it, and they were like, shit item, I can't believe I got the fucking ring. Oh, I got the ring. What do you mean? It's so good, right? The fang.
One of the best items. Like, both of those are the best items.
Best in slot.
The ward's underrated too. It's the second best. It's like the next best mage switch after occult, but nobody cares.
I consider that item, like that middle ground buy, kind of similar to, well, I would have said Sailor, but I think Sailor is going to have a bit less use because I think that you can use the Fang at top. But before that, right, I was seeing it as like that Sailor or that Dragon Hunter Lance that you buy.
Yeah.
So just before you can buy the big ticket items, whether it's like the T-Bow or the Scythe.
It's just, people just had to like really sit down and think for a second because too many people just thought, wow, man, low price, that's low price, therefore a shit item. It's like, no. That's just too many of them coming into the game right at the start. So, but I think people are starting to realize that now, which is good because people now realize, holy fuck, this Fang is really good. Holy fuck, this ring is usable everywhere. It's like, yeah, that's good. Yeah. And as for the changes, I think that they always tend to do this thing where like on release they'll overshoot or undershoot, and then a week later they make a change and then they do the opposite. So if they undershot on release, they'll overshoot their fix, and if they overshot their release, they'll undershoot their fix. Yeah, and I think that kind of happened here. I would have liked to see them remove drops from entry mode. They made experts better, which is really cool. They've given us an approximate rate, which I like, that satisfies a lot of people's minds because like they can tweak numbers all they want when there's no like knowledge out there whatsoever. They've even admitted it on next release. They said, "Oh yeah, like we fuck around with the drop rates on release." just to accommodate for it. And that makes sense, right? Because if they didn't do that for TOB, and let's say it was 1 in 9 the whole time, you would go, imagine if Bodhi's team went on a 40 dry streak right on release. Every TOB would have dropped dead, right? It's this hard, and I'm going 40 dry, like, right? You need to do something to accommodate for drop rates on release, and that makes sense. But this was one of those weird things where, at least now they've given us a rate, and I feel like once they give us a rate, they're not going to change it. They've told us it's 2.5x. So an expert is 2.5x better than, roughly speaking, than a normal raid, and it's like, okay, that's pretty good. I think we're moving in a good direction. The only other thing, the problem is their fixes, like, they fucking undershot it, or sorry, they overshot it, because like we said, hey man, like maybe you can split the potions a little bit, because everybody's just one ticking power. Everybody still kind of one ticks power, but at least there's a choice now, right? At least there's a fucking choice, so it makes sense. But before it was one tick power every time. Let me get my overload, let me get my ambrosia, let me get my fucking adrenaline. You got all these Reddit guys complaining that I can't do the raid without ambrosia. It's like Behemoth uploads a video where a guy just sat there the entire P4, just sat there, no prayer, tanking all the boulders, all the lightning, because he's just sipping ambrosia. It's like, yes, it was.
I did that every speedrun. It was so AFK. It was awesome.
It was like it's needed. It was a well needed nerf, right? The thing is, they did it all over the place.
I just realized that looks so fucked. Oh shit.
Sitter, you fucked up, dude.
So your dad could see you.
Oh no.
You guys watching?
Fuck you guys. That's gonna haunt me. I can see that. They're gonna fucking cut that out. They're gonna ping me in my Discord, dude. I'm fucked. Oh shit.
Yeah. His dad's coming on stream and fucked around on his stream a little bit too. But definitely they also did the main problem was that they just decided, okay, we gave them a couple pieces of feedback, right? Warden sometimes feels a little easy, like it doesn't have enough invocations, which by the way you opt in for, so I don't want no Redditors sitting up and being like, you're making it harder. It's like, no, I'm making the option to make it harder. You don't have to fucking turn it on. But there's they just overshot it, right? Like we asked for, you can split ambrosia and adrenaline, and that inherently would make it slower because then you wouldn't choose as many adrenaline, and then you wouldn't have as quick of a warden. That's all that really needed to be done.
Yeah.
Then they decided, okay, well, I'm going to lower your potion doses. I'm going to split them up. So now you have 2 1 doses instead. I'm going to lower your potion dose. I'm going to reduce the core length. I'm going to make T-bow hit lower. I'm going to make fucking... I was like, what? Nobody was asking for all of these. Yeah, all of these.
I saw that Reddit was like whinging about that update, and I was like, oh, it's probably just Reddit things, right? It's probably easy. And then I went and tried it. I'm like, oh my god, this is like 3 times harder than it was.
I was like, why? We asked for like one thing, and they made like 6 tweaks, and I was like, it's another case of them like. They always overshoot or undershoot their compensation, and it was weird. But they fixed it, I guess. Some people they did fix it. Some people suggested like other ways to adjust with it. I kind of forgot, but the way it is right now is like, fair enough. Like I think personally, because I actually really like the second phase of Warden. There's a lot you got to pay attention to. You got to you got to fucking dodge these things. You got to change your prayers and watch the guy. You got to dodge the floor windmill or the little thing, right? So it's fun, but their complaint was like, you're fighting it. You're not fighting it long enough. You're like 3 hitting it, and then you go back on the core. You spend more time hitting the core than you do hitting the boss. So we're gonna reduce the amount of time the core's out. I was like, why? That's such an unconventional. Wouldn't the more conventional fix just be increase the health of the warden during the phase? Like, why have you suddenly reduced your hits from like 3 to 5, and now you're getting like 4 down, 5 downs, right? If you just made it so like warden didn't get 3 hit, maybe he got like 8 hit, 10 hit instead. You still get 2 downs, but you get a longer phase 2, and I probably would have gone around that approach. I don't really know why they didn't, but the way they've done this now is like fair enough, I guess. I guess it's two different ways to approach the same goal, but I'm not really sure which one would end up better here. But that was my take on that. So.
I like it as it is now, the Warden. Also, about drops, what is going on with the gems? Bro, I'm 200 rates in.
The gems are terrible.
Dude.
And
I don't have a red one.
I got spooned the gems, and I still think it's dumb.
I remember when I got the yellow one, and I was so disappointed. And the next thing I know, oh yeah, by the way, you need the yellow one if you want to go for 500. Fuck yes! Fuck all you guys saying the blue gem's the best. I got the yellow gem. You're gonna all suck my dick, bitch.
Blue one is useless, turns out.
Yeah.
It's
But Bizarre still needs that yellow gem, dude. He can't do the run. It sucks.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I mean, someone asked me, they were like, "Oh, like, are you gonna go for the last kit?" I was like, "Well, I could be the first guy to try and do it without a gem, but you know what? That sounds like a lot of wipes." It's like because I was doing a series that was basically soloing a purple from every single raid, and someone was like, "Oh man, so like you should totally fucking do a series on getting the 500, right? That'd be a cool series." And I was like, "Yeah, you know." But the problem with that is most of that series would just be me money raiding, trying to get the gem, or I'd just be doing a lot of entry mode raids because someone told me like maybe it was just fixed drop rates on release, but like, you know, I think a lot of people got the gem on release, just doing their entry mode runs. So like, just the fact that like people who want to go for the 500 are literally brick walled by the RNG of getting a gem that like some people are 200 raids dry for. Toy just said he was 200 dry or some shit.
Oh, I have 2 gems, but it took me like 90 normals for my first one, and then like 50 more for the second.
Yeah, it's
experts, but at that point,
there's no. I'm not understanding that. It's rarer than the actual purples.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Like,
I thought it was
if you're doing
common.
If you're doing expert, it should be guaranteed a gem, and you should have an option to opt in for dupes or not, in my opinion.
What does this add? Like having these untradeable, very rare like gem drops that are only good in the raid. Like what is this adding to the game? I don't get the idea here. What are they going for?
I think they just wanted more stuff. I think they just wanted
more stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really hate it because, you know, more stuff is cool, right? Like, there's more stuff to be hyped about on release when there's more stuff.
Oh, the gems are cool. It's just weird that they're like very rare.
Like, no. Yeah, I'm not really sure, but fuck it, you know, like I'm hoping they do some sort of fix soon. Like, God knows.
See, this is the
when they were describing them in the blog, I thought they'd be like 1 in 10, like a Chambers tablet is what I was expecting, something like that.
Yeah.
Has anyone done an experiment where they just run a bunch of entry modes and see if they get it?
A lot of people say that's the best way. I don't know.
Maybe it's the speed completion. Maybe it's just off of rate, and like I don't know. I don't imagine it actually is a higher drop rate off of entry mode, but it might just be the whole thing that, you know, like I can bang out an entry mode in 10 minutes, and if I run like 6 an hour, like surely I get one in, you know, 15 hours. It's like, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Just please give guaranteed gems at expert, and give an option to get dupes or not.
Yeah, I guess to kind of summarize it, generally on release I was okay. Like I was pretty happy with things. Only concern was like the rewards. So I'm kind of glad they kind of fixed that.
Yep.
But the other thing was with their changes, they just have to make sure they're big careful when they make their changes, because I felt maybe if they did like one at a time and saw how it did things, it would have been fine. But they just threw in way too many changes, way too fast. So they just need to pace themselves with the changes.
Yeah.
At least when it comes to like trying to fix up a boss.
Yeah, definitely, like, just I don't know. I mean, it's like a whole scientific experiment. You can't figure out what's wrong if you're changing 6 variables at the same time.
Yeah.
That's not how any experiment works. You don't fuck around with seven different variables and then just be like, oh, well, yes, I'm just going to pray that this works, right? That's like you adjust one, maybe 2 if you think you want a pronounced effect, you know. But there was no need to touch up so many different things all at the same time, and I hope that they change their approach when it comes to future updates, because I don't know. There's a reason Jagex is pretty notorious for like shit balancing.
Yeah.
And I don't mean I don't want to. I'm not. Believe me, I have no hate to Jagex. I don't want to fucking flame them, but it's just like this happens so often. Like Winter Toad used to drop fucking
Yeah.
a U seed every single crate. Like fucking Zora took so many years before it got nerfed. It's weird, man. Like. Please stop.
The loot changes gotta be quick because
Yeah,
the economy is set. Like you can't just take the items away. They're out there. It's too late.
It's like, oh my god. So I don't know. I just hope that in terms of like mechanics, please stop fucking hitting 6 different things at once. You know, just take it a little bit slower. Do 1 or 2 things at a time. If you need a really pronounced effect, then maybe you can hit a couple different variables, but there's no reason to adjust 6 mechanics all at once.
I think the one thing I will ask before we probably wrap this up is we should probably make note of, like, is there any mechanics or anything significant that you'd still like to see changed? And this could be different for everybody.
I'm not sure if I'd like to see this changed, but it seems really weird that the spikes at the Krondus path, like, you can just completely ignore. Like, it's really nice that you can do that, but it doesn't make any sense whatsoever, like, in context of the puzzle. Yeah, because you get immunity, apparently, if you, like... Yeah, so...
I think a lot of the mechanics are definitely... Some of them are just... Like, I used to think that they didn't scale up at all. But like for the puzzles, because there's a lot of mechanics that I feel like you could just ignore. Like I thought they would become more dangerous with higher invocations, but it's like, oh no, not really. Like during the Kefri path, there's a couple things that like spawn and like try and hit you, but like they don't really hit. Really, like if you're reclining, they're just there for you to blood barrage off of, which is like I sure, you know, like. The agile scarabs in Kefri, like I thought like there was going to be some invocation that was like make those more dangerous, right? But it's like they just hit 0. I swear the only time I've ever been hit by those agile scarabs is if I'm like in full ancestral trying to kill the melee scarab, in which I just pray against it. But otherwise you just ignore them, right? So I was like, is it really a good mechanic if you can just ignore it? I thought maybe they'll add an invocation for that. I don't feel like it's a good idea to make them too strong, of course, but opt in, right? That's why we have invocations.
So I do have... Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. If we're gonna talk about like not mechanics, please change the bag. I fucking hate the bag. Make the
bag.
Let me
fucking... I think that counts.
The bag. Sorry,
dude. You sound. Do you want to go on about it? I feel like.
I did the little mini rant thing on stream, but I hate the bag, dude.
Dude, why does it not stay open if I'm moving? The last thing I want to do...
Can I just open the bag?
Yeah, like I'm just trying to fucking fix my... The last thing that should be making me like sit down and like fucking... It's just so boring to sit down for like 10-15 seconds and like fucking fiddle with my inventory when I could just do it while I'm running. Right, but you can't do it while you're running, or you can't do it in the middle of a fight, or like I gotta take out my fucking salt because I didn't take it out at Akka, but it's like the motherfucker's like hitting me, and I was like, oh, there's like a projectile coming my way. It closes. It takes like fucking 3 ticks to move it around. I'm like, it just sucks, man. Like just keep it open. You know, they have another interface that just stays open, and you get to. But I don't really remember which one it is. But the bag is really annoying. And there's some other stuff, but I forgot them for the time being. So
probably my biggest gripe is, okay, so you guys know we're in P2, right? You're not one attack when you have the beam shoot out like one side and the other side like north, south, east, and west, and you have like those things that are like going outside. Well, when you fucking kill the warden, the fucking beams are still coming out. Yeah. What the fuck? Every other attack stops.
That one's annoying.
Those beams
that's a
don't
feature.
Get shut off. Why?
Just that one.
So cringe. Yeah, like, if you're gonna not fucking make it where it turns off, you might as well turn on fucking windmills while dealing with the core. I'm not saying go do that because people will be fucking upset about that. But imagine if windmills didn't stop and you had to hit the core. Yeah, good fucking luck. Not gonna have a good time.
Dude, exploding skulls. Keep the exploding skulls going.
I have
That
two
does-
things.
Oh,
The first one is the Baba puzzle room, the monkey waves as people call them. Please make the room smaller. Like, why is it so big? You gotta run to Norney all the time.
statue in the fucking middle.
Damn statue.
Oh my god. The
If
curse
exploding
button-
monkeys should kill the other monkeys.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
Please.
That's like
Dude,
higher skill cap too.
dude, the
That's just
boomer
fucking-
placement would be Pog Champ, dude. I would love to just fucking pull this guy like, hey, come here. Come here, buddy. And then you just see him go kaboom and then just the room's clean. That'd be actually
Do we
great.
need
And then you could
Nuke them
put out
all, yeah.
brawls with that. Holy shit, you wouldn't have to use chins and barrage. No, just bring up a boomer and then you're done. Maybe you could like barrage a boomer and then like as shit kind of gets together, it unfreezes. Maybe ice splits or something. Like it would actually open up the doors for some really creative play if it actually damaged other shit around it. So I would love to see that too.
yeah, please make the room smaller. I really like the changes they did to the waves where they made, or like they took out some waves, so that's fine. Because it's like by far the longest puzzle room still. And the second thing I wanted to like, well, I don't know, but just like at Warden at the obelisk, you have the orbs, right? And you have to group up and you have to spread out. Why does the spread out one always hit you like 20 whatever? Like there's nothing you can do about it. Why?
Wait.
Oh yeah, I know what he's talking about. The fact that you're always going to take damage from like those balls.
Yeah,
The
like,
ones
it's-
where,
it's
you wanna
unavoidable
spread out
damage.
for them. So you have the DD one like so, and then the space out one. He's annoyed about the
Like-
space out one doing so much damage.
Why is there no like thing you can do to like avoid the damage?
Yo, just redemption ticket. Easy.
Yeah, easy, bro.
Yeah, no, it's dumb damage in my opinion. Either like add a mechanic or like
That's fair.
reduce the damage.
Could you time your rapid heal? Heal 1 HP when it hits you. Easy.
Yeah, I do like that.
Kirby Obby skip coming soon.
Yep, I'll work on
Oh
that.
boy.
I think
I've got two issues as well. There's two rooms I don't like right now, and it's Akka and Baba. So I think Baba is kind of the dumbest. It's just like he smashes you, like, and there's nothing you can do. It's unavoidable damage, like Toy was just saying. It's just like we're seeing it really hard in 500s. It's RNG whether you get through the room. If you don't want to red X him, it's just like he's punching you for 30s. Just sometimes it's like a 5% chance. It feels like Mudadile, and nobody likes either of those. Nobody likes Mudadile. You don't want another one. I think they could just make that not go through prayer, or at least like really reduce it. Like it seems
Yeah.
unnecessary.
I definitely agree because right now it's like you're kind of forced to cheese it. I will say that method is cheesy. Out of all the unconventional things, that is definitely one of, like.
I hate doing it. I'd rather
Yeah.
fight the boss, but I can't. Feels annoying. The one I don't like about Akka is obviously Butterfly ignored all the mechanics, right? It was just you do Butterfly the whole time, right? And they wanted to change that, but the way they changed it was now he just does a special attack every 60 seconds, and then there's an RNG chance that he changes style, which I think is also kind of dumb. Like, why is that RNG? So what I was suggesting is that they just make it as soon as he hits you the first time he switches. So then it's like he can still do the specials, he still does everything, but if you mess up and you take a hit, then he switches. So then it's not like RNG, whether it's like, oh, I'm going to be taking a bunch of damage. It's like, oh, I messed up, now I'm going to be taking damage, you know? I just don't like the RNG mechanics. It's annoying.
you see that.
They could also maybe adjust the fight as well, so that way you're not forced to do Butterfly. Maybe adjust the amount of damage that you take.
He also hits you really hard through prayer, so if they change
Yeah.
that would work too.
But like those are two things. I know there's a lot of DPS checks as well. Of course, there's ways to like skip the damage you take through those DPS checks by standing in certain spots and just running through it because a lot of those attacks are hit scan. But I would much rather them just tweak things so you don't have to do all these unconventional methods, so you can actually do the fight appropriately.
Yeah.
Not to say Butterfly, get rid of Butterfly. No, I think it's cool. I think it's nice to have a method like that and have it be rewarding. But at the same time, if they want to keep the core boss fight the way it is, they need to make it feel like doing the fight the appropriate way is the way to go.
My point was keep butterfly if you want. Just make it not RNG or get rid of it. Like rework the fight in some other way because right now it's kind of lame.
Definitely I remember I think I heard you maybe not rant but just talk about it once. Any sort of
I rant about it a lot.
Yeah, where it's just like because I think the vibe I'm getting from you is literally like, oh, I don't mind if it gets harder, but the thing is like it should only get harder for a reason, or maybe like it just gets flat harder, right? But like right now in its current state, it only gets harder if I'm unlucky. And it's like, what? Why? There's no need for the luck aspect of that.
Yeah.
And I think my last gripe in terms of mechanics right now is just on Warden. I don't think now I know it's easier and I know like a lot of people like to do it but like I just don't think it makes sense that you can stand next to the obelisk projectiles on P2 and it just doesn't hit you. Don't get me wrong, do I like doing it? Sure, right? Like it's easier, it gives me a way out, but
the lightning bombs.
Yeah, it's just a mechanic, right? It's a mechanic and you shouldn't be able to do that. Like if we're just gonna talk like how it should be, like, usually standing in the middle of the fucking lightning bomb does not make you invulnerable to it. So I feel like that's definitely something where they should look to tweak that because it just doesn't make sense, right? I know there's gonna be some fucking guy on Reddit who's like, you just want to make it harder for me. It's like, well, do you think that makes sense? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It's the obvious mechanic. It doesn't make sense.
I feel like out of all the fights in this game, this like the P2 fight is a fight that really makes you focus more on your position. It's kind of similar to Gauntlet, right? Because if you're in a shit position when you're doing like CG, you're gonna get fucked by the NATOs or just something. Like you want to make sure you're in the right spots at the right time, and at least you have a bigger arena to play with compared to Gauntlet, where it fucking feels claustrophobic. But let's just say like if you're just AFKing and like beside the wall or in a corner for too long, a lightning bomb might come in. It's gonna be super hard to dodge, right? So that's what I like about the fight is that if you're positioned right, then you're never gonna deal with like some of those really annoying attacks. Like sometimes you have the windmill spawn on you, that can easily be prevented. Just make sure you're in the right spot.
Yeah, I agree with that because I've seen like at the start it used to just spawn on me and I was like, oh fuck my life.
Yeah.
It was just don't stand there then, right? Like it's fine. Right? So I don't know. You can easily do some accommodations for it, and I don't consider it that hard just to like dodge the lightning. I just think it's just a little cheesy. Well, okay, I won't use that word, but like I just think it's weird that you can fucking a mechanic that very clearly is proximity based is you can ignore it by just standing next to it, and I don't think that makes sense. So
weirdly enough, I kind of like that mechanic. Like if you're observant, like okay, obviously now we all know it, but we're like if you're observant, you realize oh the lightning isn't spawning on those tiles. Instead of running away, I can actually run towards the damage sometimes. I kind of like that mechanic actually. Funny enough, because I feel like it's like
I kind of like it too.
Like you see everyone else just running wildly, but you got the info. You just run. You run close. You're good.
Yeah.
I kind of like it personally, but I guess yeah.
I mean 100% because like I said like I like doing it too, right? Like it just makes it easier. I can choose to run away or close, right? I'm never caught in a position where I'm forced to just run away. But the thing is like it just doesn't make sense. That's the main thing with it, right?
I feel like the lightning's like arcing in a certain pattern. And that's how, like, it's like the arc of a lightning is skipping those tiles. I don't know.
It's strange. I'm not sure what causes it, but either way, I just like the fact that if you're too close to the shadow, just stand there. If you're too far, then you just,
it's hella reclined.
Yeah.
Just there.
I like the option.
Yeah. Yeah, like it's not just always run away. There's more ways to solve the mechanic. That's just what I like about it, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't mind either side on that. I think it's fine as is. If they change it, that's also fine by me.
Alright.
One more thing now that like Gnomonkey mentioned Aka. During the P2 fight, like when you're fighting the last one, right? You get Aka. You can start breakdancing and just rapidly start switching styles every time. I really hate that. They should
yeah.
make it so it like at least does one hit before swapping, but like
Yeah.
I don't like breakdance Aka.
Oh, you're talking about P3?
Yeah, during like the last fight.
Do I have a
yeah.
Do I literally have a clip on what maybe update
I
5
saw it,
times in
yeah.
a row?
5 times.
I did a
No
solo.
attacks, just
I
5. Yeah, that's why 5 swaps.
I did a solo, and like between 2 skull sets, it just never attacked. Never attacked. It was like 10 hits or whatever. Like just kept swapping. Like you don't take damage, but like it's really annoying.
Yeah, I would much prefer if they made him at least do one attack at a minimum, right? So they don't have to flick as much. Give me a bit more time. Anything else, guys?
I think that's all the mechanics at least.
I was gonna say one thing I don't know if there's a way to avoid this, but something I don't like is when you have the highest levels of back, you can't actually flick mage against the blood magic if it is a range attack at the same time.
Yeah, I hate that.
Whereas
I hate that.
you can do
And
it
that's
on any
random.
upper scale. Wait, that's random? Are you
Sometimes
sure?
it's off tick, sometimes it's not. I think it's when he melees, it offsets him. But
I was wondering about it because I know like whenever it's like but level 2 or like level 3 or less, I can always pray flick against it.
yeah,
But when it's level 4, it's how do you so we don't know if there's like a way to it's
when it's
impossible
2
to-
tick, you sometimes can get mage prey on in between and it'll catch it, and sometimes it won't. I don't know what causes it. But
Maybe it's because I originally thought it was based on like it needs to do this amount of attacks for it to happen, but maybe I was wrong and it's based on like X amount of ticks need to pass and it needs to make sure a special isn't happening at the time. It can do it maybe at the start of a special, but not.
I wonder if it's like a scuffed ohm sort of thing that's adjusting the tick the blood barrage lands on.
I don't know.
Maybe.
I've seen it where I was able to catch the blood barrages, and then he meleeed, and then I wasn't catching them anymore. They were the same tick as the
Oh.
rocks. So I
Yeah,
was like,
maybe it's that. Maybe it's getting
I
upset
don't know.
with that.
Weird.
Yeah. It just seems like another way that big teams were like unintentionally nerfed. Like imagine trying to do like a 500 invocation Zebek, and like I have a clip where 8 of my friends were doing one, and as soon as waves ends, they just ran through the 3rd wave. They just all died because
That's
it just
happened to
blood
me.
rushed.
oh.
Like
And I see
it's
the boss heal the 4K. I'm like, what is this?
yeah, and in a solo, you don't even have to pray mage. Like unless you're doing a 500, it just doesn't matter. Like there's just so many instances of that where teams are just nerfed. Like, and it
Yeah.
probably wasn't even intentionally, but it just makes them like not worth if you're
Yeah.
going for the high ones.
I think they should tweak it for sure because it's just like ever since then I've just had PTSD. I'm always just like I need to make sure I'm away from my teammates, which I think is fine, but I just want to have like at least that one tick of clearance so I'm like, okay, I see I'm in a shit spot, let me just flick on my prayer. And I'm okay. No, you don't do that because if you do that, you're gonna get 30 or 40 or 50, depending on what grade level you're on. It just sucks.
I think that what Joel talked about was just a good thing to. I mean, I don't really think I haven't been too bothered about whether or not they should fix it because I guess maybe, well, I don't know, but definitely like at the start there was a whole discussion about like like solos or teams, right? Like all the Twitter's like fucking on some rant about like how I don't want a solo, I don't want a team or whatever. It's but undoubtedly like the teams are just harder, right? Because there's so many mechanics that you could just ignore. I can ignore the blood barrage. I can ignore the boulder distribution, right? I can ignore teamwork on Kefri puzzles. I can ignore fucking like there's a lot of
Aka
stuff that you
specials.
just-
List goes on. It's like
Oh
infinite.
yeah, detonation. Double trouble is piss
Just
easy
ignore it.
as a fucking solo. Double trouble is fucking the hardest thing in the world with a team though. It's like there's just so much stuff that is like I just ignore it because I'm in a solo. It's
Yeah.
like okay, which probably isn't good, but
Alright, so I think now we can move on to the next one. We don't have to spend too much time on this one, but the third question is going to be talking about, well, I'm pretty sure everyone's seen it, but the great Twitter/Reddit wars and people's reactions to the changes, as well as the radon release and post changes. What are you guys' thoughts on seeing all that happen?
I read it stupid. I need to get the fuck off the Bird app. Honestly, I fucking hate the fact that I've got this app now. It's so shit. I hate this fucking app. It's terrible. Actually, no, psych. Bodhi followed me on fucking Twitter. Now my life is complete. Now I can delete the Bird app. But yeah, no, I mean, I don't really like the app, but I've been hooked and addicted to it because like it started like it all started with just me I uploaded a video, I'm gonna post it on Twitter. Get any views is better than no views, right? So
Yeah.
we'll post it on Twitter. And then now I'm just a bird app guy. It fucking sucks. Every other day I get some Sinferna tweet about like is it really like I don't know, like it's some shit about like some horny like foot fetish or some shit on the timeline about ToA. It's like what the hell? Or I get like Tootie, or I get like Hootie Tootie coming in, saying some other weird shit. It's like okay,
But like,
I really,
I
really,
don't
I
really see that much weird shit on my Twitter feed,
but...
to be honest. And I follow some interesting people as well.
But like, what's the main backlash though from Reddit and Twitter? Because I like don't use it either.
So okay, so what I remember was so day after the second set of changes, right, or first set of changes, so like second week, right? Reddit exploded. They were at first week they were praising. They're like, "Thank you, Papa Jagex, for giving me the best present ever. I'm gonna play with this toy every single day. Thank you so much, Daddy." And then next day is, "You fucking rat bastards! I'm gonna go to fucking HQ and shove my fist straight up your ass. Revert this change right now, Jagex, you rat box!" Because they were all upset because it's like, it's impossible to do this shit now. Super punishing. It just doesn't feel worth doing anything at all. It's just, they were super mad. And I'm just sitting there like,
But like, the main complaint was about the drops, right?
It was mechanics too. They were not happy about all the changes in mechanics, which I think, of course, us high-level players made the mention, like, maybe they shouldn't do so many changes at once too, but they took it an extra mile and they're like, the best update ever just became the worst.
Oh, yeah.
The general outcry. Yeah.
The overwhelming majority I saw of like us was like the experts aren't rewarding enough. So can we up the loot? And a lot of people are like entries maybe shouldn't give purples as well. And Reddit took that as like, you're taking our toys away! Don't do that! Stop! It's like, no, I just want to be. There should be some reason to do a harder raid. Probably, maybe, might be good.
It's like that time when my dad took my N64 away and I never saw it again.
And then Jagex made the raid way harder at Warden, and they were like, these damn elitists. Oh, man. They ruined it for all of us.
See, I don't want it to be impossible for them, but at the same time, it's like, I want there to be incentive to actually continue learning, right?
Yeah.
It is tough for
from
like,
the
Iron Man,
sorry.
but sorry.
The formula that was going around that was like crowdsourced showed that experts were 50% better loot. And it's like, it takes 50% longer. Why would I do experts? So like I was speedrunning 150s. I was doing 1+1 150s just for fun. Like why would I do an expert? There's no point. So that was the complaint.
Not even accounting for like wipes and like it being more difficult even.
Yeah,
it's just slower. It's the same as doing 150s, regardless of the difficulty. It's just like there's no point.
Not what I want to see, dude. I want it to be rewarding because I was like kind of slowly but surely going up the invocation ladder, and then eventually I started running experts, but I wasn't doing it for money because I was like, I know this isn't good for money. I was just doing it for fun.
Yeah.
So I would just say it was very interesting seeing all the outcry. That's it. Anything you want to say, Poenari, Kirby?
I think it's a little disappointing that kind of both sides kind of see it as like an us versus them kind of situation.
Yeah.
When really we all just want a better experience for ourselves, but that doesn't have to be a worse experience for the other side. Like, I mean, it's really tough for Jagex to balance it, and they did kind of not do it correctly the first kind of two, but we're getting there. And it's, I think it's in a decent space now, especially since they added the 500 invocation and stuff now. I think that kind of alone kind of saved it for some of the highest level people.
Yeah.
Because I remember the first 2 days, like I was loving the raid so much. I was like, this is amazing. It looks amazing. It feels amazing. It's fun.
Oh yeah.
And then when people like stopped doing experts, they're like, this isn't worth it. And I started doing 150s. I just was like, I don't want to log in anymore. Like I just have no reason to play in and do 150s. Like this isn't what I wanted. But I think we've come a long way since then, and I'm looking forward to the changes they'll make in the near future because I think it's in a pretty good spot now.
Yeah, I think it's a good spot now.
Yeah, I really like it as it is now.
Hmm.
I mean, it's still complaints, but like overall, I really like it.
Yeah.
Anything you want to add to that,
Definitely.
Mr. Kirby? I'm sorry, Hemmiez.
Oh, yeah, don't worry about it.
I just enjoy the chaos of watching Reddit and everyone go and fight each other. It was funny. I was doing
Kirby
the duels.
Joker arc.
I was doing the duels of Addy. I'm just here chilling with my chat, and he's like at war with like the Redditors like going into his chat, and I can just hear everything. Like me and my chat just like the kids playing RuneScape, hearing my parents arguing, and I'm just like enjoying the just listening to the chaos.
I already got
Oh,
the
yeah.
death threat over it, and I was like, yeah, like what the hell is going on? Like people are giving. I think Poenari touched on the us versus them dilemma, and it's very true. Like I'm gonna be part of that mostly in retaliation, but it's like fucking the people seem to think that it's like gatekeeping, or that like a lot of the updates are pushing for like gatekeeping. It's like most of the updates are opt in, right? Like something we've talked about is, or at least I talked about, is the skill floor for getting into ToA very, very low, right? It's more of a gear cap than it is a skill cap, more than anything, right?
Oh yeah.
So you have to, you have to get there with half decent gear if you want to go in with no knowledge of it. But in terms of the skill cap, it's not very high, because like Warden itself is, I mean, it's high, but like it's not like you can reach a certain level before you end up being like nuts, right? So like people doing 500s, for example, have a lot to learn because they need to know all this different shit. They need to know, and that's great, right? But
Mhm.
in terms of doing like, if you want to push for like the max invocation raids or whatever, it's largely just an endurance test, because the things have like so much HP and they're chipping through your prayer and they're fucking doing this, right? So, and you're not getting any supplies back. So most of it is like an endurance test, where I think a lot of people wanted to see like a sort of like Warden skill cap, where we had more invocations, more demi bosses to hit, more fucking. You have to fight 2 Wardens at the same time. Could you imagine? You had to fucking. You're trying to hit the core of one, and you're dodging the attacks of another Warden. It's like that would be so cool, right? And you could have this one final incredible hype boss where it's like, well, my guess is Wooks would probably, like, we'd have had that same rush. Oh, everybody's racing to be the first completion of Ultimate Warden, or whatever the fuck.
Mr. Hemmiez?
What's up?
I didn't want to stop you midway, but I just want to let you know that it's going to be a discussion later regarding invocations. So,
Okay, yeah, but
sorry.
yeah, basically, I feel like at the very least, the Warden, like the skill cap is too low. Insanity is piss easy. It's just like you gotta add some shit, and we'll talk about it later, because
Yeah.
there's not enough, like the description on Insanity is like, they become unstoppable. You're not going to be able to do anything. And it's like, he hits faster, mildly.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. It's like, yeah, that's fucking hard.
All right, so
yeah.
I think we'll move on to the next question, which is going to be talking about the gear. What's your thoughts on the gear, like in the raid, outside of the raid? Are you happy with them? Is there more they could do with it, etc., etc.?
I mean, I've tested the gear a little bit. I haven't tried to use things all around the place, but definitely the staff is in a really good spot right now, I feel.
Oh yeah.
It's best, like right, like at the start before they buffed it for ToA. Like I already thought it was kind of good, but I didn't realize that they were really trying to create another like positive feedback loop on basically the drop, because we've always had this system where in like Chambers there was the T-bow being best in slot at the best in slot moneymaker. That's why the T-bow stays so high. Same thing for Scythe. Scythe stays at 4 bill for a month straight because it's the best in slot at the best in slot moneymaker. And I just thought, oh well, this time they're not really going for that. Well, this time they are going for that, so that they buffed it, and now it's at like 1.9, and I think it's good because ToA is gonna last a lot longer for that, because a lot of the value is being held up just by Fangs and the staff. So keeping the staff high, nice. People have a reason to do the raid still. Staff is very cool and very fun to use in there. It's also very fun to use outside of the raid. In terms of Missouri, that shit is it's in a good spot, I want to say. I can notice it I can notice like the hits being better and it being more accurate in most places, but definitely fucking Inferno, man. That shit is
The
disgusting.
weight.
Yeah, and the spec ring there too.
Dude, oh my god. I did one run and it was like 2 minutes faster. It was just flat out like 2 fucking minutes faster than an average run.
The extra mage defense, the 2 extra max hits on your specs, the fact you get double the amount of specs, it's just like I'm invincible. I can do what I want. I can just run around and kill everything.
On
Legit,
top of the fact that
one brew, no barrage. One brew, no barrage.
Fuck a barrage.
Yeah, it's 2 minutes faster, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?" Like, no wonder everybody has we have a lot of people who've just been like posting splits, and they're just like, "Yeah, man, I'm sub 50ing. I'm gonna do it." And it's like, "Oh, everybody's sub 50." I was like, "Oh man, like there's a big jump here. Like this is crazy." So it is very strong.
Chris is in
Ward.
the bin now.
I think everything is in a good spot, honestly. You can hate on the ward a little bit, but I think if we made it any stronger it'd be fucked.
And it's only best in solid top and like barrage task, I guess.
Yeah,
I
like
think Ward's really good Inferno as well. People are sleeping on that. I think you could replace Ancestral.
True, that's true.
Oh, true.
Well,
yeah, the word is good. It's just overshadowed by the shadow.
Yeah.
Like, if we didn't have the shadow, it would be a good item. Like, and it would be worth it. It would be more expensive than it is for sure. But
it's so good though.
Yeah. So I've done a little bit of testing and I've done some calculating outside of like the raid, right? So I went straight to CMs like a couple of days later after getting my hands on the shadow and shit. And oh my fucking god, everything is just out the fucking window for CMs. Like the whole procedure, out the fucking window because everyone has to shadow the fucking portal. So I'm sitting here like talking with Noob Type and I'm like, alright, how the fuck are we going to like redo banking and shit? I think I figured it out now. But the main question was like, okay, do we want the chainer to be able to come in with it? Because if they come in with it, they're gonna have to rebank at final chest X and Y. But that's not the only place that's good. Like Olm hands in teams 1 minute faster on average. So like low 6 minute, yeah, that shit's out the window because now the average is probably gonna be like a low 5 minute. And Vanguards too. The rotation for Vanguards is just completely different too because melee Vanguard just gets shredded. And the spec ring. I can't forget about the spec ring too. More specs. We fucking just claw muted dial now. Like after the tree dies, claw small mutt. And we still have spec at home. So it's insane for CMs. The staff is really good for Nightmare too because now you don't have to be sitting on the standard spellbook. Rest in peace harm users. But now you can just use Brawls, Depth Charge, maybe even use Spec Ring so that way you can spam more claw specs, but I'm not sure if that's better DPS. I'm not the best when it comes to making long-ass calculations for that, so that's why I was testing it. But Spec Ring did feel good. And Nex. Dang it, Nex. Yeah. 50%, it's basically 50% more DPS, and that's in like Missouri, not even full tour. That's disgusting.
Bang and ring are shit, by the way. They're shit items.
Shit items.
I did some calcs and for the ring, camping light bearer in regular cox rates and CM rates is always better than Berserker.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes, because you get like claw specs and shit.
You use claw specs to make up for the loss of DPS from not having a Berserker ring. So it makes it worth that. But again, I felt like when the Fang was first like introduced, people were sleeping on it. Like they were completely sleeping on it. Of course, they added a lot of use for it in the new raid, so that kind of incentivizes people to get it. But even outside of the raid, that shit replaces so many things. You can skip Lance even, and Dragon Warhammer. Well, of course you want to get Dragon Warhammer for home, but at least now you have a weapon that's really good against high defense targets. So if you don't have a hammer, not the end of the world. Congratulations, you got a Fang. So that weapon is just absolutely disgusting. People just love
Fang is in the self scout setup now because you use it as Vasa attacked on all my hand tick fixing like everywhere. Rage Vanguard.
Yeah.
You don't need Ink Mace, don't need Scythe. Just go ham. One more thing I wanted to say about the ring is you can also camp it at like Grotesque Guardians or Sire. It's also better than using Berserker Ring.
And Hydra.
And Hydra, that's right. Not
Yeah.
at top though. Not at top.
Not probably. I could see it not at top. Maybe the one instance I could see it. Well, of course P1. That's obvious, right? But I was thinking, okay, so let's say you fucking hit doggy specs it. So maybe camping the ring to get more specs back would be good because hitting on a high defense suit, I just don't think that's the play even with Berserker Ring. So I'm thinking the extra hammer specs might be worth it to maybe save what could have been a Doom suit.
The only ring that contests it in any way is the Berserker Ring. So if you're not pure melee, just pretty much take it. If you're ranging, if you're maging, if you're hybriding, like in a raid, it's take the light bearer, like always.
Yeah.
Always.
It's disgusting.
You can bring
Check on
like
that
a
right
ring
now.
switch to like spec with the other ring, but like then you want to camp the light bearer again.
Nope.
Yeah.
The current actively traded price of the light bearer on the Grand Exchange tells me it is 29 mil.
It's
Ooh.
29 mil
Oh.
item for BIS, but then again, like you gotta look at the prices of like the other rings in the game. There is no ring that is like
You
as
gotta look at
expensive
the
as it,
fact
right?
that it's been out the game
Brimstone
for
is-
fucking a week.
Endurance, I
Yeah,
guess.
I know
but-
it's
Endurance
only
is
been a
fine.
week, so that kind of sucks. But oh yeah, endurance. But
Yeah,
that's kinda-
endurance.
I almost
Yes,
forgot. about
people
that.
saying Ring of the Gods too, sure.
Oh yeah, but I wonder how useful it's gonna be now though, outside of maybe learning Inferno though, because
Ring of the Gods dead, Suffering
Yeah,
dead, Archer's
they
dead,
killed it.
Seer's dead. Like,
it killed it. It killed it.
Oh, God. Panic
Fucking-
buy.
That rings the Grim
I'm
Reaper,
hoarding
dude.
them. I'm hoarding them right now. Who wants to sell me 8 light bearers? I'll
any
be
bulk
on-
orders in progress right now?
Oh, the 479G.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only complaint I have about the gear, like everything is great, but why is Missouri 20 kilograms the whole set?
Yeah.
Oh, I hate that.
I didn't
It's
even
just-
notice that at the start.
Yeah, the weights of everything are just completely randomly generated. Like it's just it's happened consistently too in the past. But
I
don't
checked
know.
the weight of my speedrun setup for 300s. I weighed 73 kilograms. It's like,
No way.
what?
No way. The fucking
Full Torva swing. No way. Full Torva, full Masori, very heavy. Yeah.
God,
Yeah.
that is
Actually,
weird.
just
Man.
picking a number out of a
I
hat.
can't. Could you imagine if you're like an Iron Man, you don't have Ancestral, but you have like Missouri? For some reason, you end up getting Missouri, and then you have fucking Arams, which is heavy as shit. Bro,
Oh.
you'd be fucking turbo heavy.
The 11
God.
kilogram Aram skirt. Damn, he's fucking packing, bro. Like,
He's
why
hiding-
is this
he's hiding,
skirt so heavy?
I don't know. But yeah, I guess general consensus though is that everybody's pretty happy with the rewards, especially post changes. Now it actually feels good in the raid, so it's like pretty much a T-bow for the raid. So
Very nice.
all right, so I guess the next question we're gonna be talking about is the invocation system. Do we like the current invocation system? Does it do enough to change up every encounter, or were we expecting more mechanics? What about raid level? Do we think that raid level for some of the invocation need to be reweighted? Or even what invocations would you like to see in the future? Since Jagex did say they can add more invos. And of course I will mention some pretty cool ideas in a bit.
I mean, I think everyone heard my issue a little bit. I don't know if anyone else has some. All right.
I mean, I'd like to see definitely more mechanical invocations. I think most of the mechanical changes come from Walk the Path. I mean, there's like there's a couple like aerial assault picks up being bigger, but I don't know. Like I feel like for like a lot of the mechanical changes feel like they're kind of just like free. Like jungle japes, you have bananas. Don't run a banana. You know, aerial
What's with
assault,
bananas?
easy to dodge unless you're doing like medic as well. That's a pain to deal with. But like just don't have Capri as your last boss. I don't know. There's not too many. A lot of them are like I don't know, just more interesting. Like there are some, but I feel like we could definitely use more mechanical based changing stuff, like beyond just like like the boss fight to feel different and like new attacks or something. I don't know, like crazy shit.
No,
I'll take
I think
Ranger shit.
Walk the Path was the biggest missed opportunity with the raid. I don't think it should have been an invocation. I think the raid just should have worked that way.
Yeah.
And
That
I
makes
dislike that
sense.
it's random as well. Like when you kill a boss, it's like, oh, one of the other ones is harder. You don't know which one. Could be any of them.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Sometimes it's
That's kinda
level
lame.
4, sometimes it's level 6. It's like
Yeah, you don't know. Hey, I got lucky this time. Not level 6 Zebak. Nice.
Yeah.
it's the same
That's why I
path.
don't
What
like because
happened?
it's just random.
I guess you can kind of like based on what happens, can adjust like which bosses you do first sometimes. Because I'll do that sometimes where like I was doing
Yeah.
the 450s. Like if a certain boss is only level 3, I'll actually rush to that one before it turns to level 4. So there's a bit of, I guess, strategy added in to it being random. So I kind of like that, but
Yeah. So when I remember I saw Insanity, I'm like, what the fuck is Insanity? Okay, I was completely confused what this was. I read Unstoppable. So you want to know what I was thinking? I was thinking, oh, so the core comes out and you have to fucking still deal with the boss while you're hitting the core, right? Or maybe, oh, congratulations, you have to fight 2 wardens at the same time, right? No, it wasn't that. I was so disappointed. I mean,
I expected all 4 ghosts. That's what I was expecting.
So there's still so much that they can end up doing with the invocations, especially for the final boss. Maybe the windmill attack, instead of it being like 4 like quadrants, no, do 8. Do 8 instead. Maybe make them smaller, but do 8 and make it maybe more faster or something. So they can do a lot of things to maybe tweak the mechanics to make it actually feel like there's more like actual changes, and not just like, oh, there's bananas, you just gotta move past them. Oh no, so if you get pushed in here, you're dead. You just make sure to stand here. Like, I want there to actually be more of an engaging, mechanically challenging fight when you put on some of the invocations. Maybe still have some of the smaller invocations, but maybe add more invocation where the fight actually feels a bit more spicy. And my print is going off. I hope you guys can't hear that.
nah.
And my other thoughts in regards to waiting. Okay, I felt like they did a good job with changing Walk the Path, and they made it 50. But why is it that Walk the Path is 50, and the other invocation that levels everything up by 3 are the same weight? How does it make any fucking sense?
It's so dumb.
Why does that make any fucking sense that they're both the same when one of them is obviously the clear winner? Because that's the one that you have to put on. You want to go for 500? Fuck no. Put it like 75 or 100 at least. Then there's like incentive to actually do it. But unless you're doing like 500 runs, there's no point. So it's just... it makes no sense. You have to print it out, Joey.
A lot of the weightings on the raid levels are weird. Like silent prayers, like you would never ever take. Like if you can avoid it, it's like the last thing you'd ever take. It's worth like what?
Yeah.
Yeah, people are
25?
not even taking it for 500 runs.
Not
Like,
even.
Yeah. I
But
kind
I-
of it. It almost shouldn't even be an invocation. Like it's no one uses it. It almost
No.
shouldn't even be one. To be honest.
Wait, which one? Quiet Prayers?
Silent prayers.
Silent prayers.
Quiet
Oh,
prayers is
the-
manageable, but silent is just like
Even quiet's like if you don't need it, don't take it. But like,
Yeah.
My current 300 set that I've been augmenting for a long time, I think I have like the perfect one that works for me and my team. Quiet Prayers is off. But I remember early on, I was like talking to my team, it's like, okay, so, Quiet Prayers doesn't seem that bad, so let's do Quiet Prayers, and the one that, adds more damage to your I think we'll be fine. Yeah, Zebak killed us. Room 1, Zebak killed
Zebak
us.
is fucked with that. Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah, never
use
done.
don't use a quiet praise either for my 250 money runs.
Yeah. Not...
Another problem is scaling, like Hemmiez already mentioned prior, because like the medic one is annoying or like just cancer in solos, but in teams it's free. And like
Yeah.
double
Yeah.
trouble is free in solo, but impossible in teams.
Yeah. I don't know. I just feel like some things maybe need to be changed. Maybe for Double Trouble, instead of it being like every single person on your team, maybe just the one person. But I don't know how hard that would be if it was like the one person that's fucking putting Christmas lights all over the place.
I don't know.
I think another reason the Walk the Path is disappointing is it double dips in the increasing stats. So once you get to harder raid levels, like the bosses, like specifically like Baba and Akka, are already like such raid bosses that you literally just can't beat them without cheesing them. So like even if we added more invocations, like it's not going to change the fights at all, right? Because
Yeah.
you already have to do the zero.
You already
damage
can't do it.
methods. But
Yeah.
if they got rid of those the damage and health increases, then like it would just help all the rooms, and then you could have more difficult invocations, like add mechanic things, and you can actually do them, because otherwise you just have to try to cheese everything either way, because you just
Yeah.
don't have a choice.
Like, off the top of my head, I could already think for like a couple to make some of the fights a bit more interesting. Like, okay, so for example, for Baba, I know some people opt in to ignore the baboons, but maybe instead of it just being those basic bitch baboons, what about those baboons in the room we just did? You maybe have those guys. Maybe throw in a shaman in there, have the Thralls beat your ass up or something. Or maybe in the Scarab room you have.
Baboon?
Oh
no.
god, imagine the cursed baboons running around,
Oh,
fucking
shit.
holes coming
Oh.
out. You
Yeah,
hope he
like-
gets ran over. But
Yeah.
what else? And then for like
Volleys,
the Scarab
yeah.
room, you could also deal with instead of having those Overlord type scarabs pulling up when you break the shield, maybe have a random one pull up like while you're fighting. Oh yeah, there's a mage in the corner, go kill him real quick or you're fucked. So that way there's more things to focus on in the fight and not just hit boss and then everyone knows what they gotta do after the shield goes down. Everyone go here, you have the zoo cage here to keep the melee in place, etc, etc.
I like the invocations that don't necessarily slow down the fight either. Like, Double Trouble's more raid level, but you still take like Feeling Special just because it makes Akka faster,
Yeah.
and Simon says. I really like those that make it harder, but it's not like, oh, you have to go kill minions like repeatedly. I know you're saying this is cool, but like, a lot of people don't want like more overlords on because it's slower, or like medic and that kind of thing. So the ones that are like, increase the mechanical skill, but it's not necessarily slower are cool.
Yeah, I think
Oh, sorry.
Feeling Special is something just that's such an awesome invocation just because it literally speeds up the raid. Like,
Yeah, that's actually good.
Like
Weird.
it's not extremely difficult, but it's more difficult. And you get rewarded for it in a way. Kind of like Insanity. You just get so many points for it being a little bit more difficult. Like once you get good at it, it's nothing. But it's nice. It doesn't make the raid slower.
I think another invocation they could have maybe done, I'm not sure how they would implement it 100%, but like for Akka, instead of having him just like vanish away when he does his Simon Says special, have him stay there and just have him do attack still. So then you can still hit him while dealing with the Simon Says attack. I think that would make it where if you're skilled, you can have him still be there while dealing with the Simon Says. I thought that'd be cool, but I'm not sure how it would work because then if you're dealing with Simon Says and he's moving around, he might move out of his quadrant. Because if you have a shadow, okay, you can hit the shadow while doing it. You don't have a shadow, you're a fucking sitting duck. You have to just do the attack and do nothing. It just sucks. Unnecessary time gate, but if you add the invo option, it's like, oh, so if you actually want to be able to do it, here you go, but it's going to be a little bit harder. So, it's a reward.
Yo, imagine if they had Double Trouble for P2 Wardens. Get 2 specials at once from the Obelisk. Windmills and like skulls at the same time, or windmills and the laser beams.
Like there's just so much potential for stuff to add. Like I'm glad we got to talk about a couple like just like 8 windmills I thought was sick. Fucking the cursed baboons and like those shitty baboons in the middle. Like like there's so much room. 4 bosses. Like even Gnomonkey said he was literally expecting that, and it just wasn't there. Right? It was like there is so much shit, so much more room to expand upon, and it's like. But they just haven't done it, right? And the fact that, like, I mean, they can do it in the future. I do just wish Insanity was harder on release, because it's not like that many people were going for Insanity anyway. I really think a lot of the hype, kind of, I think there was a lot of missed potential in not having a final raid for Wooks to do, for Wooks to just sit there and grind out, because Wooks did his expert solo on like day. I don't know what, day 1, day 2 or something. And then he just started money raiding, right? Because there was no crazy almighty challenge for him to do. Now we're starting to see it with 500s, but Wooks already fucking quit, like we're not getting him back right now. So it's just kind of like, I think that would have been really, that's a lot of missed potential, Wooks is a large stream of fucking traffic. A lot of people are wanting him to do it, and just to see him do money runs? It would have been so much cooler if Insanity was actually fucking insane on release for that. And I don't want people coming up to me and being like, that's fucking gatekeeping, because I'm not trying to make it harder for you. Literally, like, this is opt-in. It's just like, you make it more difficult at your own expense. If you don't want to make it more difficult, there's no reason to, right? You don't have to. I'm not saying what you have to do. I'm saying for the people who want to, they should have had a choice to make things even more difficult. And they just didn't have that on release, which is like, I would call that a pretty big missed opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, I still feel there's still space to actually do it, but like you said, it's always good to do it on release. Now it's like, oh, if they do it, then the people that are still around are going to be able to do it. But now it's like, it's too late to have that initial challenge. It sucks.
another thing is, if you turn on all the invocations, it's impossible to do the raid. Like, I don't know if they intended that way, but like not being able to do 600 invo raids is just like,
Yeah,
why have it?
Help a little bit, you know.
I think the
like,
time thing's the only thing. Well,
No, you get no supplies, you get no prayer, like the 35% prayer shit, and you need to make time. It's like it's just impossible.
I feel like maybe with the time thing removed and the 25% being removed, maybe there's a way someone will come up with. But other than that, I don't think so.
I think the only reason anyone's worried about that is that they seem like stuck on the 600 number because like they just did all the changes with the raid level and it's still at 600. It's like, oh, okay, I guess this is like it could have gone up. Like they could have gone up to 700. They had the chance.
Yeah.
They could have made things give a lot more raid level, but they didn't. So it's like weird.
Yeah, I don't mind if they change the number. It's just like you just can't do a max invo raid. That's so disappointing.
I think like literally that's a big appeal to a lot of people because like I don't know, like looking at noob types 510 clear, I think was heavily undersold by the fact that he just didn't have time on because nobody can fucking hit time. You just can't hit time. It's physically impossible. I think every single person right now will agree. No matter what you do, you cannot hit you cannot hit a 600. Even if like let's say you had let's say like the time wasn't there or whatever. It's like maybe most people are going to say no, but maybe there's that slight doubt in your mind that's like maybe someone can do it, right? Maybe someone can do it with the 25% off and all this other shit, but the time just makes it out the water. Like everybody knows it's impossible, 100%, right? And that so it's like now you're looking at noob type completes at 510 and you're like that's sick, but what it's not showing is that looks like 510 out of 600. Really, what it is, it's like 550 out of 600.
Yeah.
Because there's just like I don't know how much it offers, but it's like fucking 40 invocation points that he's just never going to be able to get. Right, and it just undersells it. It's not as hype because what's like, let's say someone does fucking complete it. It's like, what's it going to be? It's like I did the first 570. It's like. This is just not as hype, right? It's not as hype as saying I got the first 600. It's like
they could make it so it caps at a point, but like let's say it caps at 550, you can't go any higher. You can put on as many invocations as you want, but it's not going to get harder than 550. So then at least you could say, hey, I did the highest possible level raid. It goes up to 600 if you want, but you're not going to get any harder. And at least then you'd be like, that is the hardest it can be, you know? Then you wouldn't have the times on. They could do that. I don't know.
Oh, what do you guys think if they made like scale? Like if the timing invocation scaled based on raid level, because at the moment
That's what
it's
I was thinking actually. Like maybe
the hardest time one you can only do on super easy raids, making it kind of like even though it's supposed to be a harder invocation, it doesn't work.
Yeah, it's backwards. Yeah.
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 I think Hop Toy for saying something as well. I think he was about to say something. But yeah.
I mean that's probably better than what I was thinking. I was thinking they could make it like the time difference between the room times and the overall time has to be below a certain limit. Like that's also kind of easy. I think your idea is better than that.
Because I was thinking, like, what if it could maybe like every 100 points, or maybe just like some sort of formula so that I don't know. It's a reasonable estimate of what's like it should. I feel like it should always be possible. Maybe it requires some RNG, some god tier play, but I feel like it shouldn't be like the time invocation is just impossible. Bucky, you can't use them.
100%.
Yeah.
Honestly, that is a really good suggestion. Yeah, like. I mean, we might see that implemented. I mean, I hope some JMods are listening or something because
They're probably in bed right now.
Now wake him up. Someone call him.
I mean, I can call someone, but it's not JMod. He's a rat named Piers.
Oh shit.
I'll leave him sleep. Any other thoughts on that before we move on to the next question?
No, I'm good.
All right. So the next question is going to be talking about. Number one, it's going to be speedrunning, and two, the race to the highest invocation clear, and what our thoughts are in regards to speedrunning for the ToA scene, as well as like trying to go for the high invocation clears.
Good talk.
Gnomonkey as a former record holder, maybe you should
former.
Would still have it if it wasn't
it's like on the roof of my mouth. A former. I mean, it kept changing. What do I think about it? I mean, it's kind of similar to like a Chambers speedrun, I guess.
Oh yeah.
You're just taking like
Chambers.
you're just taking like maximum switches, very little food, and just like flying through the rooms. What's like annoying in a speedrun?
The bag.
The bag, of course, the bag. Oh, it always comes back to the bag. There's a couple like of the RNG things that just like are unnecessary, like the Akka puzzle being like a 30-second time loss sometimes. It's literally just when you walk in the room, you're like, oh, I have to put 3 mirrors down. It's a 30-second time loss. Okay.
Also,
For the most
croc.
part, though, I think it's a good run. Oh, the croc.
But one tick croc.
Oh, the croc.
Chomps the tree.
So, sometimes when you can barrage and get dragged as you're barraging it, so you freeze it and you still make it like to the tree on time. But that's only if he spawns in a convenient spot.
And then you'd also have to be on barrages.
You'd also have to be on
Which is slow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh wait, there's a spell in our IKEA spellbook. Grasp or undead grasp or something. A chance to hold it for a second.
Holds it for like 3 ticks. That'd be huge. Probably
That's
good
all you
enough.
need. That's all you need. It's finally got a purpose after all these years. That's
Finally.
You also have access to Vile Vigor because you have all the prayer. Fucking girl.
True.
Oh,
Vile
true.
Vigor.
I can't tell you how many people told me I need Vile Vigor for Akka. I was like, I don't think that's the place though, but maybe.
You lose so
You have
much
assault.
power to do
Assault is
that.
unlimited run energy now. It's so good.
Oh wait, is it?
I remember when it gave 3 run energy
Yeah.
unreleased. That was
I didn't
awesome.
realize it's unlimited.
Well, it's
Yes.
not unlimited. It's like every like 15 seconds you get back like 15 energy or something. So it's like
Yeah.
it's enough to do
Wow,
Akka without stamina.
That's so nice. Holy, I didn't think.
Hey, really? Oh, I thought I
They-
just gave 25 on the initial like using
Yeah,
it.
they changed it.
Yeah.
That's
So
fine,
nice. Hello, So's dad.
That's my brother. Everyone
That was
thinks
Joey.
that's my brother.
Hello, Sato's brother.
Hello, So's
I remember
dad.
I think it was day 4, I examined the salt and it says it gives you run energy or something in the exam. I'm like, oh, this gives run energy? Oh, sweet. And I clicked it and I am like, did my run energy go up? What?
Yeah.
Oh, I think it did by like 2. Nice. Excellent.
Lost it.
Perfect.
You're running in 73 kilograms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
There
I
are-
think. Oh, sorry.
Oh, you want me to go first, or you go first?
I'll go first.
Okay, you
So
go.
I want to say I feel like we're still in those early stages before we start seeing like a lot more speedrunning. I think we've already seen some people from the Norwegian Mafia, shout out to Vestborg and the boys. They were doing some runs and they showed off some tech. Now we have Deo, Lucid, and them that are running expert speedruns, and they've already been getting some PBs. But of course, there's going to be more changes coming in. So everything's not set in stone right now. Once we have like all those like changes and maybe like a few weeks in time now, we'll probably see a lot more speeding when everything's nice. I know there's some people who have done speeds and not very happy with the raid. There was a video I saw from a man named I don't want to fuck his name up, Vasitas, I think it is, who's big in the top speed community. He's trying to go for top world record, so good luck to him. He's pretty close. He like said he's not a big fan of it, but then again, like not every speed run is for everybody. Like for me, Inferno speeds is definitely not for me. I want to get better at it, but I'm not gonna go for like world record or anything like that. My wrist can only handle so much, right? But yeah, I think we're still in early stages. It is kind of nice to see some of the metas developing and the weapons people bringing in. I think I finally figured out a good setup if I want to go for like fast runs, which involves like claws and ZCB. ZCB is also pog, dude. Holy fuck. I kind of slept on it, and then I started realizing, wait, it's actually good on the obelisk, and I saw the chance of hitting at Baba and Caffrey. It hits a lot more than what I expected.
I was a ZCB non-believer. I just looked into it like this morning, and I think it beats out Venge bringing it. I think it's worth it.
Yeah, I'm not sure about solos, but for teams, like 100%, and then in
100% teams.
In bigger teams too, then you have all these, okay, you bring the red gem, and then there's like actual roles, which is what I kind of liked about the gems, was it opened up the whole idea of roles. At least speed runs in big teams, you're going to see the red gem. Yellow gem, nah, you're only going to see that in like high grade level runs. So.
That's one of the things I wanted to mention. Yeah, the team coordination with the red Karis. I really like that.
I like it a lot. I like the fact that they added things that are good for that raid and only the raid, because it lets you bring in some OP shit like the Ambrosia, the e-girl pot.
I was gonna say there should be an invocation called Butterfingers. There's a chance when you drink ambrosia it doesn't work. Yeah, click it again.
Everything.
Just drop-
Okay.
Doesn't work for a tick. Next tick, you can try again.
You drop the
Yeah.
ambrosia on the fucking floor. It's like, oh yeah, it's on the ground.
You have to pick it up. Yeah, you drop it. Even better. That's even better.
Oh,
That's what the banana should do. Just drop a random item out of your inventory.
Oh,
You'll be like-
Maybe
Even
throw
like
both on the
hex.
ground.
Your character says, "Oops,
okay,
Butterfingers."
dude.
like explodes on the ground.
Yeah.
So there are three things that I really like about like ToA and kind of speedrunning in that sense. The first thing was the red carrots and like team coordination. The second thing is the focus and emphasis on overall time instead of like the bozo spellbook
Yeah.
swap type of shit, you know.
Yeah.
And the third thing is that defense reduction is, I mean, it's necessary for like speedruns, but it's not like necessary overall, right? You don't need to like land hammers to like really get through a room or like not suffer. I really like those two things about the raid.
I mean, I feel it's mostly nice for Zebek of all places. But that's about it.
Yeah,
It's not
Zebek.
good for the other rooms.
The other boss is like nice, but like only Zebek.
Yeah.
And like Warden is useless now with like staff buff, so
That's what I was gonna say. Like with staffs being good on the pillar, you don't really need to use it there. The only thing you really use is the red Kyros now. So.
I need
Yeah.
that Thamron spec. I need it in my life.
Oh yeah.
During that mage level.
Would the Famron
You hear me?
spec be good for Inferno?
Oh,
Hmm?
fucking forgot.
Because it drains defense.
I'm gonna go with a no, but
Probably not.
I'm not
Probably not.
I'm just gonna go with a steer call.
I like where your head's at, though.
Okay.
innovator. I told you.
Alright,
Seer
so
call.
You're the guy.
anything else we'd like to talk about speed-wise before we move on to the second subtopic of this question?
Floating monkeys damage other monkeys.
I'm curious what you guys think will be the most heavily contested. I feel like both for 150 and 300 solos and 8-mans will be like really popular. Personally,
Yeah.
I think 8-mans are just they're insanely fun with like Red Karis and like the team coordination. Like it just solos feel like less like room for ingenuity and like strats, but 8-mans feels like it's like a little bit more creative.
I also think
Yeah.
it's just always more fun with more fucking people. It just ends up being it's chaotic, but that's what makes it fun, you know? Like
Bro.
that, you know, you have people everywhere. Everybody's doing their own thing. There's tons of stuff going on. I love it. And like when I don't know, something happens, like maybe it's free for all. Like I literally on the first couple days I was running free for all 8-man experts because it's like, well, you know, at the time all the prices were on a dip. So we didn't want to run 8-man to do like you split and then everybody's like, well, this feels like shit because 6 out of 7 drops or some shit feel like terrible in an 8-man. So we're like, we'll do 8-man expert free for all. That way, when there's still a purple, everybody gets all hyped, but it's also like chaotic and everybody's having fun. It's like that. Like I love I love the fact that teams have kind of received this
Yeah.
this fun aspect about them.
All I'm gonna say is, dude, in regards to 8-man, the best 8-man I've ever watched in my life was watching Gnomonkey and the fucking boys pull up the 8-man. You, Ignoble, and the rest of the... Dude, what the fuck was going on when I was watching that?
It was ridiculous.
Crack
With
Zero?
Flash, too.
Bro, I was... Yeah, I forgot Flash was in that shit too. Oh my god. It's just... There's so much fucking going on when I was watching that. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I was laughing so... And the part when Ignoble died and like, I'm fucking dead! I was crying. Holy fuck.
We get to
It was
Kefri
so
and someone had
fucking-
aerial assault on. We're like, why?
Yeah, it's actually so
Why would you
good.
do this?
God, so I will say 8-mans are just fun and speeds, and in fact just absolute chaos. But I think where I'm sitting ballpark wise, maybe 4-man, 5-man might be another skill that people might consider for it, but I'm not sure. It all depends what ends up being the fastest. Maybe there'll be a category for all of them, but it's kind of hard to track all those things. So, at least for like the speeds disc, in terms of in-game, like it automatically tracks. It's mad. But anything else before we talk about raid level? I guess not. Alright, so the race to the highest raid level, at least since I had the experience to watch it from noob type perspective, like behind the scenes in the lab, I thought it was interesting. I don't think it's something that I would go for. I want to get 500 at some point, but I just don't see myself going for max indication clear. That shit seems incredibly hard. But the amount of like shit that went behind it, the lab work, it was just fucking crazy. So who knows? Maybe at some point, if they do end up adding more Invocation, we get to see like how far people can go. And again, the time Invocation is kind of impossible right now. But if they make changes to it, then it'll also be kind of nice to see like how fast can people get with this. Because right now it's just saying who can do it, like who can do this first. Like the race to the first 500 clear was really crazy to see. From Khazard and Noob Type's perspective. And then when the shit that Khazard pulled off was fucking insane with the Croc strat. That was actually crazy. With him like luring the Crocs a certain way so he could just camp in the back.
The Croc.
Yeah.
Michael Phelps looking ass.
Jeez, joke.
I liked it. I liked it.
I liked it.
I love the innovation. It always, whenever people can think of a creative way to do it, it's always very cool to watch.
Yeah. I think, like I said, I think the only thing that sucks about trying to go for high raid level right now is it's gated behind fucking Yellow Gem. It makes sense to be gated behind. It makes sense to be gated behind like end game gear, but it just sucks because like outside of being like, if you're an Iron Man, you gotta grind for it. If you're not an Iron Man, you can't get the fucking gem unless you fucking grind hard for it, and then you can still get cucked on it.
Yeah, to add insult to injury, you can even get dupe gems of the other colors before you get one of each. Like, it's just, maybe they're like 1 in 50 from, it's just, need to be able to trade them in, or make them just way more common, even if not guaranteed. Like,
for sure.
Dupes are dumb. Why are there dupes? Just give you another different gem when you get one. It seems weird.
Yeah, but what do you guys think? Are you kind of happy with the whole idea of like trying to go for the highest raid level clear, or is there some things that you'd like to see changed about it outside of like the whole gem situation?
What I was saying earlier with Baba and Akka are like the dumb rooms where it's just like they hit you so hard you can't get through it. Like those are dumb. But
that's fair.
Besides that, it's very doable, I think. So
earlier we talked about the invocations being rebalanced to like be higher than 700 or like be higher than 600. I think that could have probably done good to make it so, not everybody's locked behind a fucking, because I feel like, I mean, when everything is capped at 50, it's just like to hit a 500 clear right now, you need certain things on, and it's just like it's just locked behind that gem, and it's like there are ways to go around it. I don't even know if they rebalanced the weightings around a bunch of stuff, like we could probably go around without it, but I don't know if people would even want to see that. Like, did people want to see? Would people? Because then it just kind of devalues what people have already done, right? It's like if you could find a way to squeeze in other indications, so now maybe you can use your brews. It's like other people would probably look at that and be like, well, what about my 500 where I have nothing but sand fuse in my inventory? So
yeah, I wonder if they would increase the numbers or something. Like if they make the maximum 700, are we gonna make the fan kit now? To get a fan kit now, you need to do like a 600 raid. I wonder if it would change it, or if it would like leave it at 500 and make it easier.
Leave it probably, because like look at what happened with some things like the CM times for chambers, where they set the times. They're like, oh, we'll probably change it in the future. Never change it. So like, what is it, like 40 minutes or something for a 5-man or something? Like, you have to be trolling absolutely fucking hard to not get like a 30-minute run on a 5-man, right?
HMs are free as well. So
yeah, hard modes are free unless people die left and right.
Yeah.
It can happen sometimes, but outside of that, it's pretty free. I guess we can move on to the next question then. Alright, so we can start talking about innovation and Jagex's response to nerfing butterfly tech, which has also led to people hiding their strats now for future high invo runs. Well, at least beforehand, right? Now everything's public, but before, like, Noob Type was very sketched out about wanting to talk about stuff because they were kind of scared of shit getting patched. So we can also talk about like other intricate mechanics and discuss whether or not like this should stay or this should be patched.
Huh?
I think as it stands, the 500's in a really good spot. If they change a lot of invocations, then all of a sudden it could just get a lot easier. Like if they make it so you can actually do Baba without Red X, or you can do Akka without Butterfly.
Yeah.
But personally, I mean, I'm just a really big fan of emergent gameplay and creative strats like that. And I think I'm really hoping they don't touch those. I think you don't need to do those to do expert to get any items. But if you want to go for the 500 completion to get the kit, I feel like you should have to learn the cheesy strats. I don't know. That's where they said it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it does kind of suck though, like fact that okay, Butterfly comes out and then like a day or two later they're like, yeah, we're aware of this, and then it ends up being like capped to 1 minute, which kind of sucks because I love coming up with shit and sharing with people. I think the only times I would like to hide it is if I'm planning to unveil it at some point. Like, I was trying to come up with some cracked locator orb redemption teleportation tech for high-risk Hawks, and it worked out in a solo, so it teleported me, I lived. But when I did it in a team raid, I fucking died after laughing like a madman, and Hemmiez like, what the fuck just happened? Because the whole idea behind it was that you locator orb, then you stall because the damage of the locator orb doesn't happen until the end of the stall. So then my redemption would proc. And then afterwards, I would be like, oh, I eat the teleport damage of the redemption, but for whatever reason in teams, it's different. I don't know. But it just kind of sucks because then people are a little bit, they're more reluctant to want to hide things because they know Jagex is going to not want to reveal it. I think another example of that is the quote-unquote president walk that was used in high-risk Hob. No one really... Well, it's out there. Some people know about it, but it's still not in the public because the second it goes public, it's going to get fucking patched.
I personally knew a lot of the tech for a while, and I just hadn't been doing it on stream.
Yeah.
Just like, out of respect for the people going for really high raid level, it's just like, well, good luck. I can't do it on stream, or it'll get patched.
Yeah. And that's what really sucks.
I feel like if it's not egregious, why patch it? I feel like with Butterfly, they could have been like, hey, we don't like the state this is at. We're not going to do anything yet. We're going to see how it plays out, but we're going to come up with a way to make it a little more interesting, instead of just like quick RNG now it is, personally. Also, what is and isn't a bug is very up in the air. Reading that last patch notes where it was like, fixed a bug where you were unable to drain Kefri and Baba in the raid. I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean that's a bug? We're like 3 weeks into that was a bug?
Oh, that was intended.
Fixed an issue where you couldn't monster examine the obelisk. What do you mean that was a bug? What do you mean? That was an accident? It's like, come on. So what am I... How do I know what I'm leaking is a bug or not? I have no way of knowing. It could be a bug. It could be intended. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of up in the air sometimes. I wish it was a bit more consistency. But at the end of the day, it's Jagex. It's their game. They get to decide how they want things to be. But at the same time, it just... If there's like a really cool, innovative thing that people can do, then why patch it, right? Because, like, look what happened with the entirety of soloing top or Mage Run, right? Who stayed in the game? So why did Butterfly get patched? I remember Addy's argument was, well, for you to patch Olm, they would have to like completely change the fight. No, Jagex should have fought for something. Like, so why did Butterfly have to get gutted? And these other methods, and it basically takes away the whole fight of Olm by, well, not the whole fight, but it makes like a kind of new encounter. But you can make the argument and say, well, you're not taking damage, you don't have to prep. So, yeah, I don't know.
If you do 401 phase 3, you take absolutely 0 damage. Kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Kind of unfair.
It's
really similar. I don't know.
I know there's skill in it and having to analyze all these different things you can do. I'm not trying to say like Butterfly and Olm are the same. They're not. But I'm just trying to argue the fact that they're both similar in the sense you don't take damage and it requires like good positioning and all that stuff and just being aware of things. So that's just my 2 cents on the matter. I just wish Jagex was a bit more consistent is all. And maybe not so like quick to just be like, are we getting rid of this? Because as Poenari said, I like when there's those cool methods around, even if it might not be something I want to do. Average Redditor is not going to be doing butterfly though, like, so don't see the harm in having it. Any other thoughts?
No.
Yeah, I don't really. I never did the. I've been behind on the ToA, man. I think like Redditors have more KC than I do. I'm one like 50 KC, so
I saw you doing top the other day. I was like, huh?
yeah, I was like, I'm not really, like, because I mean, there's all these, like, I don't feel like I'm in a position where I should like talk too much about like butterfly or like strats about like 500 strats. It's like, if I'm not doing it,
That's fair.
like, I should do it before I fucking sit down and have something to say about it. So
I will say this though, respect to you for doing like, old content again with the new shit, because I remember the second I like tried it out in Nightmare, I got an ink helmet and everyone question marked the fuck out of me. They're like, what the fuck are you doing? And I'm like, I'm testing new gear, hello? Can me as a content creator, test it out in new places? And nope, just get questioned by the entirety of Oblivion. I'm like, okay. That's
it's not even like just as a content creator, right? It's just kind of like, personally, I had my run with ToA. I think the most I enjoyed it was probably day one runs where everything was like, oh, I don't know what the fuck is going on, like, and then after that, like, I didn't really need the money, so I was just like, I'll just do what I want to do. And, well, if it goes down to chambers, like learning the run. Like learning 8.1 and 12.0 with the staff has actually been really fun. And it's something where you can track your own progress. You can see like, okay, I'm doing most phases flawlessly now. It's like, oh my god, like that, that just feels really good because it means you're making progress, you're learning. It's like, I'm gonna do other stuff that I think is fun too.
Dude,
Trying to
watch Ritzy learn how to do that shit was probably the funniest thing I've ever seen in my fucking life. Trying to learn 12.081. I was in call crying, just watching him die over and over again.
Because it makes you feel like you're a learner again. It's like, playing the game too long, I don't feel like a learner anymore. But, learning new stuff like that, it's great. It's fun. And I really enjoy it. So.
Yeah. Alright, so I guess...
I won't talk too much on the ToA part, at least.
So we have one more question in regards to ToA. After that, we'll take a small break, and then we can go into like the final set of questions, which won't be as ToA related. They'll be a little bit more open-ended. But this is just going to be like final thoughts in regards to ToA, and then just talking about how they handle the kits and the dusts. Like, as we saw, it is a much different approach compared to like the old way of getting the kit and the dust. So no RNG. It is completely like skill required for it. So what's your thoughts on that change for the kits?
Personally, I really like it because it's like, rather be an RNG grind, it's like you have this and you're flexing this item, it shows you've completed a raid at that level. Like it's like a flex of skill versus a flex of RNG. So I kind of really like stuff like that in the game, personally. So I was a very big fan when we did that, and I like.
I always thought. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I like that it actually made it like difficult. Like it's like even for me, I have to actually, I'm not just first trying this shit as like a content creator who just goes for high, it's like when you're doing like sub 50s Infernos, if you make the GM task, sub 65 Inferno, it's like, there's a walk in the park. No, I have to actually try to get these things. So it's a nice like a challenge, but it's actually an in-game challenge. It's not like me setting my own limit of what I want to break. So I kind of like that. But you go. You go.
I always thought solo top should have had something for it. Wouldn't that be cool if solo top was the dust, right? Like this is kind of what it feels like the 500 levels like a solo top.
Oh, that'd be something.
Yeah. I have to say that it was very ambitious of Jagex to slap on 500 like immediately after only 2 people had done it. Honestly, really big fan of that. I think it's really cool. Yes. I think it's a really cool way to reward the high level community. Because the raid in general was just already so catered to lower levels. It's been adjusted a little bit, and I do understand like some of the frustration from like some of the lowest level players who were trying to get into it. But yeah, really good way to appease people and try to give people something to work towards. Because otherwise there'd be no reason to go above like 300 or 350 money raids if that kind of became the meta. So
Yeah.
really cool.
I think the thing that I really enjoyed about it was just that, like, I mean, it's not really that. I just like the fact that they were willing to take that step, because I know a lot, like, they made it 500 and instantly, like, 100, 200 people started fucking complaining. And I was like, well, it's not like they're not gonna, if it's too difficult, they'll change it, right? But it's
Yeah.
like, they just took the step to kind of be like, because this is them in the same way that, you know, they kind of overshoot it on release. It's like, well, this is just a cosmetic kit. It doesn't really matter that much if they overshoot it on release. So they're totally able to just set it to 500, right? And this inherently pushes people, because just like Poenari said, before this, nobody, like, sure, only 2 people had the completions, but it's like, that's part of that is because nobody fucking wanted to run it, right? Nobody was
Yeah.
fucking running it. So if there was 2 completions before anyone ran, they decided, hey, you know, we're going to set it to 500. We're going to see what happens. If more people start getting completions, then, hey, you know, we're properly pushing people. We're properly incentivizing people to get better. And that's great. And if it's too difficult and still there's 2 completions after like 3 weeks, fine, we'll tone it down a little bit. And I was like, yeah, you know, it shows that they were willing to take that step and kind of, you know, not fucking, because I mean, anything else, like, I don't want to say anything else, but like, if they made it fucking 400, if they made it 400 to get the fan kit or something, like, just compare what the scene right now versus the scene if 425 was the cap would be so different, because right now 500 is considered like doable. A lot of people are like, oh yeah, dude, like, I'll grind it. Koru has it, Addy has it, fucking Noob Type has it, Port has it, and it's like, and there's like an
Umbrella
Iron
Five,
Man who has
the
it,
Bean Father.
right? And it's been out for a couple days. It's like, you know, rather than just keeping it capped at 400, and then like the only people that want to do 500 are like just psychos.
So, Hemmiez, I just want to let you know your boy fucking Ruru is flaming you in chat. Would you like to put him in his place?
What's this Ruru guy doing? Who's the weeb talking? That's you. That's you, Ruru. What the fuck you doing? This guy's gone.
Oh, no.
He comes in, he's like, I want to play Fairy Tale song request. Can I get a Fairy Tale song request, please? And I was like, Fairy Tale sucks dick. And he was like, man.
I'm gonna
What's this
ban him.
Ruru
That
guy
was
saying?
pretty fucking
What's this
funny. I'm not
Ruru
gonna
guy
lie.
saying? This Ruru guy's crazy. What's up with this Ruru guy? But yeah, no, I just like the fact that they were willing to push players, and they didn't immediately like flinch back when people started flaming them, right?
Yeah.
Because now we're seeing the results of it, which is that I don't know how many people have 500 right now, but it's probably like 10, right?
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah.
it's 500 went from being, damn man, only Port can do it, only Noob Type can do it, to now being like, oh, this is doable. You know, a lot of players think they'll work their way up.
I didn't see the complaints. What were people complaining about with the 500s? We just thought it was too hard, I guess.
Yeah, too high. There's only 2 people who have it. You know, like, we can't do this. You can't set it. You can't bar
Interesting.
anything that high.
I mean, initially I said, like, I felt like they could maybe tweak it back and maybe make it where it was like, you do 400 for the ward kit and then 450 for the fang kit, but at the end of the day, like, they can leave it where it is right now and maybe tweak it where they tweak the amount of points you get from invocations, or if they want more people to have it, then just bring it down slightly.
Yeah.
Something that's
The main thing is, like, they are free to change it. If it's too hard for what they wanted, they can tone it down a little bit. But it's, I don't know, it's just a decision that I think worked out in their favor this time. So,
Yeah.
good.
I know some people were upset because you have to use quote unquote bug abuse to get it, but I think one of the interesting
Not true.
suggestions I saw is, what if in like a bigger scale, like an 8-man, it was possible to do a 500 without like Red X Baba and without Butterfly, but the thing is, it's just souls are just so much easier than the other scales for hard levels, but it's just So they can't even make that change because I don't know. Yeah, it just I feel like just making bigger scales easier would just be a really big task for them. They'd have to rebalance a lot.
I also feel like
Cool.
outside the kids though, ToA has been an excellent opportunity for like some of the newer guys to really show themselves off as top tier players. I mean, after all, I know Gnomonkey was someone who's like very well known in the YouTube scene, but he's still one of the newer streamers, and his fucking shit has grown so much. Obviously, traction started hitting in when he was doing like non-stop Inferno speedruns, and everyone was like looking at him as that guy that just doesn't fucking flinch even when shit goes wrong. He just has like he just has that positive fucking attitude, or when shit does go wrong, he just still has a good outlook on it. But now we got this new piece of content, you're fucking you're going hard at it, or out of nowhere, no one knew about this noob type guy. Out of nowhere, this guy gets 510, and it's like, oh shit, I know this noob type guy. I used to suck his dick, you know? Like, people are coming out of nowhere. Well, maybe I'm just talking about myself because I've been his hype man the last couple of days, but I mean, he's been one of my closest friends, so it's kind of nice to see people coming out of like nowhere and just getting well known now. I
You're
like
not
it a
talking
lot.
about yourself because you still suck his dick, so it's gotta get it cleared.
I mean, actually, I can't say anything. I don't want him to kill me, so I'm not going to say anything in that regard. I was going to say something regarding Olive Garden, his brother, and Alfredo sauce.
Don't.
I'm not going to mention that because he will absolutely fucking kill me, so I'm just going to... We'll
So
leave
this is
that
the
for
behind the
normal-
scenes stuff.
No, we're not doing that, dude. I wanted to do a behind the scenes video at some point, so I just got to finish up my questions tonight, so after the podcast is done, I'll do that, but, any other thoughts before we take a small break and we read chat or do whatever we need to do real quick?
I mean, I like the idea of it being hard to get the fan kit. Like
Yeah.
Hemmiez said, just push people to be better. They can like tweak it a little bit, sure, but like keep it high.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in a
Okay.
good place.
Technically, some of my chats said they did a 500 if I've been using the Baba Red X thing, so you can definitely do without it. It's just more RNG.
It's RNG.
RNG.
Yeah. Noob type said it's RNG up the ass. Like, you might get it, you might not get it. And then, yeah.
Yeah.
Addy just did it without that either, I think. So you can do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, it might really just be Akka then that needs changed in bigger teams.
Alright, well, we can take a quick 5-minute break. In the meantime, we'll just pick some stuff that we see in chat and just, like, reply to that. And if you guys need to go use the bathroom, beat your cock, do whatever you need to do, go do that real quick. And then we'll be back in 5 minutes to wrap up the stream. I'm not sure if we're going to get through all the questions because I want to try to keep it at a maximum 3 hours. No 6 hours this time. Good thing I didn't do like 100 questions, but we'll see. So, we'll take a quick 5 minutes. Let's see. What do you guys think about this Gnomer J? My god. That emote is the most cursed thing I've ever seen in my life. It's like literally, it's like
I hate it.
like this. And then you just see like the shadow outline of like a cock. Like, that is like the most disturbing thing I've ever seen in my life.
Doubles is the worst. Fucking doubles.
God damn. They cater towards keeping people grinding so they keep paying membership. I mean, yeah, it's important that they kind of keep that balance of like keeping the high level players happy because they're the loyal people, but also you don't want to just completely shaft new players from doing the content because that's what happened with Tob, right? Like, in our eyes, Tob is successful. I don't think it was successful in a bunch of people are interacting with the content aspect. But
Well,
I don't have the stats.
There's a lot of people who there's a lot of people who are coming up and saying that to me. They're like, "Oh, well, it's successful because like a lot of people did it." It's like that's not the only metric that they use to measure whether or not a fucking raid is successful. A raid is like Tob garnered so much fucking like traffic, like and attention just because within the first day there's like 40,000, 50,000 people just watching Wook's and Bodhi's team just trying to get them to kill. Now obviously it's still the same for like it's going to be the same for any really really big piece of content on release, right? But it's the idea that like this content is good because a lot of people can do it. It's like that's not the only metric, you know? Something can be hard and still be very very good for the game because it just generates so much advertising, right? Like TOB had a lot. Well, I don't know about a lot more because I haven't been watching I haven't been watching all the top streamers this time because everybody just had clears already. But
Yeah.
it's just like when when Inferno couldn't get completed for so long, 40,000 viewers on every single stream who was above wave 60. Like it would be on 40,000 on a Wooks stream. Wooks dies. Every 40,000 people go to Foe stream. 40,000 people go to this.
Yeah.
Right? It's just there's like you can't measure how successful a raid is just based off of how many people do it, right? Because that's not the only metric. There is obviously it is a metric, right?
There's
Like
a metric too.
Yeah, if it's good for them, like or if they're doing it, yeah, it is like they get to engage in it. That's nice, but there's tons of different things that are going to go into it. You can't just say like, wow, it has a lot of completions, therefore it's successful, right? Especially when we're so early into it. We're a month in. What happens when 6 months down the line it's burnt out and nobody wants to do it because it's fucking all the drops have crashed in price, right? TOB is one of the most heavily camped things after 4 years. That doesn't you can't look at that and say TOB's a shit piece of content because nobody could do it on release. It's like that's just a dumb outlook, right? You're not looking at it across a period.
It's an accessible piece of content. That's all that says.
Yeah. It's like I don't know,
which is good, but
because it's just blindsided. People aren't really like looking at the whole picture. But that's an argument I've heard so many times. People are like, oh well, TOA, a lot of people are doing it, therefore it's good. It's like not really. It is good for now, but we don't have anywhere near enough info to paint a whole picture for that. So I don't know what other questions. If I do a tree run, will I appear in the background?
It's not live. Unlucky.
Wait, what? Oh, I see what you mean. Okay. I was like,
that'd be sweet. I need to set that up.
When he said that, I don't know why, but I was like thinking he was like referencing Hemmiez door in some way, shape, or form. I don't fucking know why.
Just peeks around the corner.
Why? What is the story behind that door? Why is it so narrow?
That's not. It's not.
That is cursed.
Someone,
I don't understand it.
Someone fucking. All right. Do I can. Can I?
Door lore?
Something here. I'm gonna show a bit of an unreleased video that I probably won't ever release because out of respect for the guy who made it, but he did have one section that I really did enjoy, and I was fuck, where is it? Wait, what? Where did he put it? Oh yeah, okay. This might be a little bit fucked up. Oh no! I'm gonna try and stream this. Wait,
is there audio to it?
I think there is. Can you hear it?
Oh, what's yeah?
Okay.
Oh,
it's a regular door.
Look, my wingspan is okay. Well, actually, that's just a really bad angle. I'm just gonna try and do it.
Oh my god.
Do I match up with Ryan and risk kill? Was that it? I thought we had more. Oh, I thought you had more parts on the door.
Dude, what is it with that door?
Oh
that
yeah.
door is
oh man.
It's just a regular door.
The part right when you have your arms like this, I thought that shit was great.
Look, my wingspan is okay. Well, actually, that's just a really bad angle. Alright.
I think it's enough. Holy fuck.
That one was
good door lore.
That one was unnecessary. But why does Rixie have that clip, bro? Why does Rixie have that clip? What?
Because he's friends with Miami. That's probably why.
Whatever, dude. I mean, it's really not that. It's not that crazy, dude. Just people like to blow it up because the camera angle is like there's crutches. I mean, there's crutches there. Nobody asks about the fucking crutches. We just talks about the door all day.
See? I lost space, and there's a second door I can open. You know what I mean?
Hemmiez, I hate to say it, but Sido's door is bigger than yours.
maybe it is the camera angle, but I don't know. It's
Is
just
it longer or is it girthier?
I can't really tell. I need some measurements.
True. I'll get the circumference. You can't
Alright.
fit your chair through it. It's fine.
Alright.
This is
I mean,
actually
it is a
fascinating.
bathroom, right?
It's a bathroom, yes.
Yeah, so I don't think he needs his computer chair in the bathroom. It'd be weird. Like, why does he have a computer chair in his bathroom? Is he watching his hands?
Yeah, like I
sitting in
need
a
to fucking
computer
move it in.
chair? Yeah. All right, so we can finish the break now. I'm assuming everybody's back. So is everybody ready to return to the questions?
Maybe.
I need a yes or a no, sir. No maybes here.
Yo.
Fuck it. All right, question number 9. Looking back at the start of the year with Nex, and we can also talk about, like, you know, the release schedule we're gonna hope to see, like, PvM wise. Hopefully not another 4 years per raid, but like, how did we feel about PvM before ToA, and what are we hoping for, like, PvM after ToA?
PvM before ToA with regards to like this year has been very, I mean, pretty lackluster. Yeah, I think everybody in the high end community kind of felt it. It was like, oh, we are. What Nex was not great. It's good money, but even the people who really enjoy Nex, I think, all come to the conclusion that they only enjoy it for the money. They go dry. They hate their lives.
Yep.
They're fucking.
I mean,
Even when they aren't going dry, they still hate their lives. It's like, it's not great. It's not great, that's for sure. Nightmare was the one
content to end the
before that.
night. Yeah, it was like content to end the night with, pretty much for me. And then even then, like, I know the second I stream Next, my viewer count is going to drop because no one really enjoys watching Next. The only time it might get entertaining is like when there's a bunch of trolls in my chat and they're like requesting a lot of bullshit, and then it gets more entertaining that way. But that's not Next making entertaining. It's the chat making the stream entertaining. So it's like
podcast material. You don't watch it because there's nothing to watch, really. There's nothing's really happening unless you get a drop, and even then, that's like a couple minutes of content. So
adrenaline.
I've talked about this before. Sorry. Like Nex was not an original piece of content, right? That was ripped from RS2.
Yep.
Nightmare, not really original either. That was Nex Angel of Death from RS3 as well. Not quite the same, a little rehash, but there's like 4 pillars around Nex that you're like, you know, very, very similar. So like the last truly like original piece of content we had was Gauntlet. That was like so long ago. And even that was like, that's dungeoneering, right? So it's like, we've been so thirsty for anything. It's like, you could give me anything and it would taste good right now.
It's so bad that they like didn't tweak it either, because I think a large part of why everybody was so shafted on Nex was people all thought that we all thought they were gonna like tweak stuff, right? Like there was literally people were talking about like, oh, look at the sprites that they've just brought in. They brought in like deflect range, deflect mage. It was like, oh, so, and I remember on release, like people were speculating. Like me and I was in Kirby's stream, and he's like, yeah, well, you know, I'm going to take a spectral, I'm going to take this, I'm going to take that, or I have to be ready in case it starts praying mage or praying range. Maybe it's going to change its prayers, right? And they even said, we're going to make tweaks to make it more old school. So everybody saw Nex and was like, oh my god, you know, we have to, there's going to be some crazy shit. And people were even projecting this before it came out. We were all there like, okay, look, if Nex because people would go into every stream and ask, what do you think about Nex? It's like, if they just copy paste it, it's gonna suck. If they add their own little tweaks, then, you know, this could be something fun. But the community has progressed way too much from 2012 to 2022 for you to just fucking copy paste a boss and then just say, that's fine, and then have everybody enjoy it, right?
It's like money pigeon. That's it.
Yeah. And then that's what they ended up doing. So it's like, no wonder it fucking failed. Or it flopped. Right? And
yeah.
I'm just like, oh my god. But you just look at it and like, I just think to this day, they should have just fucking tried to give some sort of mechanical changes to it, right? All they did was adjust the damage values a little. But like, you could make it pray melee. You can make it pray 2 different styles at once. You could make it fucking do some weird shit. They didn't add their own touch, and that was the problem with it.
The thing that really made it feel unoriginal is that they'd already used mechanics from Nex and other bosses. Like Olm has so many similar mechanics to Nex, and that the run down the corridors that's just nightmare. It's like there's so many different mechanics that are just like already in the game. So then you just like, I've seen all this already. Well, yeah, because they've been pulling from it already. They had to mix it up a little bit.
What the hell's going on? Just nothing new. But I don't know. I hope with ToA was definitely their first successful, their most successful PvM release in a long time, and I would say there without a doubt there are still tweaks. There are things that they need to fix, that they should fix, that any normal person would consider requires fixing. And although it's moving in the right direction, I just hope that like they try and they need to take their own fucking spin on things and try and add more stuff. Just like Nex, man. You can't just be lazy and copy paste the shit over and then call it a fucking day. Is how I feel.
I feel like in regards to like, you see how like some content evolves over time with all the changes they made, right? You look at Chambers unreleased to now, it has changed so much, right?
Not even the same raid anymore.
Yeah, like the fights have changed so much. I mean, I know there's like new ways of doing the bosses, but even then you have like chests, you have 2 patches. Back then when there was only 1 patch, I was so fucked. Like they've made a lot of good changes to it. Look at where it is now. I feel like it's good. Whereas Tob, I feel like Tob is more just like minor tweaks and bug fixes, but it's still relatively kind of the same from like day 1 to now, right? I'm trying to think if there's like any major changes off the top of my head.
No.
The scaling, I think it didn't scale, right? That was like the big thing.
Yeah, the scaling.
There's a lot of changes to Tob, but the thing is like none of the changes that they made, like, well, actually, I don't know. I think they definitely went overkill on some of the changes, but definitely between Chambers and Top, it's like there hasn't been anything crazy or to the extent that ToA has, I would say.
Yeah.
Especially because for Top, like, they did do changes. They did a lot. Like, it couldn't, like, before, Nilo Boss used to just fucking one-tick you.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that was remember everyone was hiding behind the fucking corner in the little northeast pillar. Yeah.
Yep. I remember.
You just see it changes pillars, and it 1 tick later you look at the orbs. One guy goes from full bar down to like.
And the mage phase of it was not even threatening, because if you got mage offer, it hit a 6 or something. It did no damage. It was the least threatening. I was like, what the fuck?
There was also Soda's Egg used to hit through prayer. A lot of people, I feel like people blew that out of proportion. It did not hit through prayer very often. Like, if you went into Soda's Egg with a brew, you would live. And I was like, yeah, that's fine, because, I mean, sure, it hits through prayer, but it wasn't, I think it's okay to go into a boss and need food. Like, need a little bit of food. Not a lot, just a little, right? Because it is a boss. It can hit through prayer. It's whatever. Nobody complains that you get hit through prayer on Verzik.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, it would probably suck a bit more now, since like back then meta was like everyone was using range, but now everyone's using sight. They might feel more damage, but I think it'd still survive. Maybe like have it, instead of doing 50% through prayer, maybe change it to like maybe like a quarter, if you want to keep it like that, just a quarter. But you know, it is what it is now. It's just all about flicking melee prey.
Yeah, Verzik wasn't flickable. They made the balls 5 ticks slower in Soda's Egg, which I thought was like, it's not chaotic. It's not really chaotic anymore. I mean, you got to do high risk TOV to have any chaos in Soda's Egg, because before, you remember how the mage ball used to hit you 1 tick after the melee, so just fucking fly at you, bam. Yeah. You got the one guy in the middle, and there's everybody in a corner. It's like, oh, the guy in the middle is fucking freaking out.
Yeah, I remember how like the big ball kind of scaled on like your distance between you and the boss. And sometimes you'd have like a super fast big ball, and then everyone wouldn't have time to get to the guy, and he just dies. And you're just like, what the fuck? Why is it so fast?
And he's like, DD. Everybody starts fucking running over.
Yeah, and he's dead. And he's like, oh, okay, bye.
Good. So I just wanted to clarify that they have made a lot of changes to Tob, but it's in a pretty good state. I don't think it's anywhere. I don't think what they did to Tob is anywhere near as many changes as what they're doing to ToA, but well, time will tell.
To be fair, ToA might be a lot more complex. I don't know. It's hard to say. Like the supplies, like that you can choose, and a lot of customizability. Like it's kind of expected, maybe, but
And a lot of the I'm fine with it too, just because like they're like it's so customizable. Like it's natural that they should make a lot of tweaks for it, and I hope they don't leave it the way it is right now, because there's still just so much stuff that needs more work, more customizability, more invocations need to be added, more, as Kirby said, mechanical invocations, please, because a lot of it is just like a very, very minor. You can almost, you can't ignore them, but it's like, it doesn't feel really like a mechanic to say, oh, there's now bananas, right? That's not really a mechanic. That's just like, now I don't step where the monkeys died, right? Mind the gap is not really a mechanic per se. It's just like, now I just make sure I'm not in the middle, right? So it's slight, but it's different from adding a whole thing like fucking, oh shit, 8 windmills, oh shit, 2 wardens, right? It's different.
Louder?
So-
Okay.
So I'm
Alright,
just
say
opening
something real
it
quick,
up
no
now.
monkey?
hello everyone. How are we doing today?
Oh my god! Okay, no. Alright, we'll put you. Jesus.
Now that everyone's ears are blown out and no one will be listening anymore, we can say what we want. Perfect.
I mean, I'm pretty sure most people who watch my stream already dubbed, but for the newcomers, I don't want to bore you guys just yet. And I already know I'm gonna get like a lot of lawsuits in the future for ear damage, but keep it at a minimum.
Kind of unrelated. How do you guys feel about the chest systems for TOB versus ToA? Personally, I feel like each one kind of fits the raid well, but I was kind of curious what you guys thought about that.
I think I'd have preferred the top system for this. Like a point system, I felt like was the perfect thing. If I could just maybe the price of the supplies is random or something like that, and it's like, oh, maybe Ambrosia's not such a good deal right now. Maybe I don't get it. You know what I'm saying? But then it's like I'm still choosing. I don't know. I don't think it's a bad system right now, but
I like the current system right now. I feel like it fits for the raid, and having like different systems never hurts as long as it works.
Yeah, I was gonna say I like it as well. I just wish they would tweak it a bit more to where, I don't know, because like I feel like you pretty much always need salt, on the very first chest.
Always.
So it's like you're pretty much never gonna take life. You're never gonna take chaos if it doesn't have salt. So you don't really have much of a choice. I feel like maybe if like, I don't know, the first chest always had salt at least, but then like, I don't know, maybe power had, tend to have more adrenaline. Life tended to have ambrosia, and chaos tended to have maybe just, I don't know, maybe just what had crazy shit. Like once you had like 4 adrenaline potions or something nuts, or I don't know, just like, it feels like it's not too often. It's very rare. It's like, oh, I guess power has salt and adrenaline. Chaos has salt and 2 adrenaline. Because it's like chaos, like, or like
yeah,
or salt, adrenaline, and like 1 brew. I guess I'll take that. I feel like it'd be more interesting. It was like, I don't know. You see chaos, it's got like fucking salt and like 3 adrenaline. You can go ham, or like I don't know. Or like if life came with all of salt as well, it's like, oh, because you're never gonna not take salt on the first chest. So it's just like life is just pointless, and chaos is pointless almost every time. So I wish they would tweak it a bit so you have a reason to actually, take different things.
Yeah, they give you the illusion of a choice. Like, oh, you can choose between having more health versus dealing more damage, but you need like there's no choice. 99% of the time, you take exactly the same power into life. It's
Yeah.
If life even had like half a salt, I could like
Yeah.
get through a room. If I know there's maybe
salt.
Kefri's coming up and it's brewless, I could maybe carry it through with preserve. Like there'd be some strategy there, but like you just never take life ever.
That would be good, because sometimes I feel like I'm kind of low on supplies, so I'll like say fuck it, I'll get life, and then here I am just like hands out asking for salt handouts. Because also what I've been running into lately, since I've been doing I've been running 300 runs, and I turned down the thing that has a chance of cucking on supplies, right? So one person will get like a 1 salt, and then I'll have 2 salts, so I'll just be like, well, that's not an issue. I can just use my salt, drop it on the floor, and I still have 2 salts for the rest of the raid. So that one's not as bad. It's just that you're kind of like locked in either begging for assault if you go life early because you got shafted up the ass, or I don't know. There's just not as much variety on the first choice. Feels like.
They could make a budget salt for life, so you
do that.
still get
Yeah.
salt,
Yeah.
but you get like instead of 125, you get like 122 or something, 120 stats, right?
That-
Like you still get salt, but just
That's
less.
pretty interesting. I was like, I didn't think about that, but yeah,
Yeah, I can
half
do
salt.
that. Yeah.
Like, oh,
What would you
fair
call
enough.
it?
Yeah.
Would it be called budget salt though? What would you call it?
I don't know, just salt, spending salt's minus.
Oh, sugar? Call it sugar.
Guys, sugar.
That's way better.
Sugar. All right.
Let's call it meth.
You give a bath salts instead of a salt. You give a
Okay,
bath salt.
Heisenberg, relax.
Heisenberg.
We're not trying to sell crack. We're not trying to sell meth. All right. This is a HiImSido stream. We do not promote drug use or drug trading. Okay. Let's get that squared off. All right. None of that shit. I don't need the fucking DEA at my doorstep. Okay. Please.
Call them teabags.
What would you do if it was blue Sido when they added it? What would you do?
What the
Cause a
salt?
problem. Yeah.
I don't know. As long as it's not called meth, I think we can get away with it. If they call it meth or crack, we're fucked. But I guess the next thing to ask is just like, I'm pretty sure all of us would agree and say we don't want to see like the next big PvM release in the next 4 years, right? I'm pretty sure we want to see something more sooner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I think originally when they kind of, I don't know why they paced TOB the way they did, but I remember literally like Chambers came out, everyone was freaking out, everyone was like, yeah, this is great. Then fucking, what was it? It was, I think CMs came out. Was Inferno 28? Inferno was 2018. So CMs came out. They announced TOB was coming out in. So they made the announcement sometime in spring that it was going to come out in September. No, August, July, something like that. And then right after they did the announcement, they dropped CMs. So it's like 6 months before top, they dropped CMs, and we're like, oh shit, what the fuck? Like we're, because at this point it's only been about like 7 months after or not 7 months. It's been about a little over a year since Chambers has dropped.
yeah.
And we're still kind of fresh off of that. We're like, okay, this is still good. Then they announced their second raid, and we're all like, oh, okay. And then immediately they drop CMs, and everybody's like, what the okay, oh shit, all right, yeah, okay, I'll do some CMs. And then there was Inferno, because Inferno was June or July 2018.
It was June, and it was it 2018 or 2017? Can't remember.
28. Fuck. When was Dragon Slayer? Dragon Slayer 2. Dragon Slayer 2 was. Oh no, you're right. So it was 2017. It was Chambers, then it was Inferno.
Yeah, and then CM and then Tob.
Yes. Okay, that makes more sense.
They wanted something that was built kind of like Tob, where you have all the rooms. So like one of the biggest PvM, like the biggest year probably for PvM content, would probably have been 2017, because we had Chambers and then Inferno afterwards.
Yeah, which is just like, so if you look at the pacing of this, right? They've dropped fucking Chambers, then they've dropped Inferno, then they've dropped CMs, and then they dropped TOB, all in the span of 2 years on a 6-month release schedule. Like they dropped 4 of the biggest fucking PvM updates ever in the span of 2 years, and I don't know why they really paced it like that, because hey, at the time, who am I going to complain? I'm not fucking complaining, right? This is cool. But everybody, even we were sat there and we were like, this is like, damn, this is like too fast. Because I remember when they dropped the CMs right before Tob, I was like, what the fuck? We were not expecting that. We were expecting Tob to come out like really. It was just going to be Tob, and then maybe they could have dropped CMs after. Or maybe they could have dropped CMs and then they could have dropped Tob like a year after, right? But then they just go on this 4-year dry streak, and it's like, it would have been, if they were going to do that, they should have. I mean, it's not as easy as just saying you shoulda, coulda, woulda paced it better, but definitely I don't. I feel like they could have just had the update done and then tried to space it out a little bit, because like there was no reason for them to release everything that quickly. I'm not saying we need that sort of pace again, because that was so fast that even though we were already satisfied with the PVM releases at the time, it was still we still sat there and were like, this is so fast. What the fuck? Why is there all the big content, right? I think it would be fine if they just spaced it out to like 1.5 years, 1.5 years between pieces of content. And
yeah,
so
I'd say like 1.5 to 2 years, and then maybe have like some small PVM updates here or there, just like small updates to other pieces of content in the game, because you know, I am a PVM addict. Obviously, I'm going to be biased, but you still got to show some love to like skilling, and PKing. Even though PKing is a topic that we probably shouldn't touch, since not all of us are PK Indies. I know you are an LMS man, but that's my experience is people coming in my chat, sniping me, and me molding. So yeah.
I killed a guy with harm staff at Scorpio once. That was fun.
That's pretty good.
That's my experience.
I mean,
That's
they can pretty easily just manage to like it doesn't have to be, they can drop a big PvP release, and as long as it's not like just for endgame PVMers or endgame PvPers, which it won't be, because mostly that's a very small percentage of them anyway. They wouldn't like that, but like tons of people can still experience it and try it out, right? I think if they did a big enough release for like other aspects, like other players from other communities would still at least try it, and then. But like here, it's just been a fucking drought. It's like it doesn't matter if it's PvP or PvM. There's no fucking.
So
hasn't been big in a while.
I want to move on to the next question. I don't know how much time we've got, so I'm probably going to go to the question that we might spend the most time on, and that's just going to be talking about the Blue Inferno teaser, the Tasakaal trials, and what we hope to see within it.
Anyone have the picture? Because I remember they gave a briefing on it, on like what it would be like.
I think I can give you kind of a TLDR off the top of my head to kind of give you an idea what it was like. So it had like a system where it like adds modifiers to yourself and the monsters. So as you progress, like you would get better, and then the monsters would also get stronger. Also, there would be like kind of like certain parts that you can leave on and just take your loot. And that would also be a way for you to upgrade your magic cape. So if you make it to this wave, you upgrade your magic cape to level 1. Get to this one, level 2. And the final part, which is super hard, would be level 3, and it's content that's kind of designed where you might not be able to like complete the whole run early on, but it's designed for you to like go back into it or like keep practicing with it until you finally make it to the final challenge.
And he's Gnome posted the trials gameplay overview already. That's pretty. So what waves? 12 waves with split into 3 sections, 4, 8, 12.
Yep.
First aimed at Fire Cape, second part aimed at or close to Infernal Cape, and then Infernal Cape. After each non-boss. Do you want to show it on stream?
Sure. Let's see.
This actually exists in RS3 pretty much exactly the same way. That's the Zuck they took from us. So we're like, they kind of like are taking it back from them. It's interesting.
I'm gonna show this on the stream. Hold on. I'm currently crunching some numbers real quick. I guess I could screen share it, right? Yeah, I could screen share it. Just make sure I don't have anything I don't want to show on here real quick. No porn tabs open, right? I think we're good. Not like I have porn tabs anyway. It's just a joke, right?
Sure.
Alright,
so this is the first image. The Tasakaal trials are old school RuneScape third wave based minigame, but very distinct to both the Fight Caves and Inferno, which preceded it. And I already went over like what the waves are like. And then it shows you like the difficulty. So early on, people from the Fire Cape. Later on, people who've gotten like the Infernal Cape. And then after each non-boss wave, the player must select either a debuff to themselves or a buff to enemy creatures, which persists for the remaining waves. After each boss wave, the player receives a buff to help carry them on through the rest of them. Rewards are earned after each wave, but must be gambled to proceed to the next. Dying will result in all accumulated rewards being lost, which is kind of similar to like Telos, right? With the whole enrage system, because you can keep going, but then you lose your like
kind of, yeah.
roll. Yeah. Larger rewards from higher waves, which makes sense. More fast-paced than 5K's Inferno right from the start, so no free early waves, which I like. I like that it's fast kind of right off the bat. Emphasis on decision-making and strategy more so than tick-perfect prayer manipulation and movement. Which is also nice, because it also feels a bit different than Inferno, which is more like tick-perfect prayer solves and like trying to solve waves. All that fun jazz and the big jeans. Alright, let me pull up the second image real quick.
Big.
Oh, there's my second Discord thingamabob. Why is my cursor doing shit? Hello? What is going on? My shit's being all fucking wonky. What have I done?
Oh no.
What is happening? It's not letting me out. What the fuck? It's got like a fucking... What if I have my story queue?
You thought it was a JPEG I posted. Now I own you.
Got him.
God, I'm gonna close.
Easy.
Easy 10 bill hack. Let's
hold
go.
On. We
TV.
are having technical difficulties here, boys. Jesus Christ. I'm trying to show the
Oh,
second
I see
image.
it. I see it. I see a porn tab.
No, there's no point.
I saw it.
We both saw it.
Okay, there we go. Hopefully it doesn't bug out on me. I don't know why it got stuck like that. That was weird. Alright, here we go. Show this one. And then it shows off the monsters you'd be facing off, which is just kind of like hybrids off of the creatures that you already face off in the Kroom dungeon. But yeah, that's basically it. Honestly, I feel like it seems pretty cool, and I'm more excited the fact that it seems like it has that kind of roguelike aspect for anyone that's played like roguelike games, like Binding of Isaac or Nuclear Throne off the top of my head. I know Nuclear Throne's kind of a smaller game, but just an example I can talk about.
Both very good.
Yeah, both of them are pretty good. But I like stuff like this. That's the one thing I kind of liked about CG or Corrupt the Gauntlet. The prep experience is always a bit different, and if you know what to do in regards to like, okay, you don't have this resource, and you can still like try to open more rooms and maybe even find NPCs to hit, and then find a resource and then drag those NPCs over. So I think it'd be cool to have a varied experience, and on top of that, they're introducing it where it's like early waves are kind of entry mode, and then the later waves are for like experts.
I think the main thing I like about it is just that it's short. I like I mean, I don't have enough info to make an informed opinion, but I just see I mean 12 waves. When I mean it's supposed to be like related to the Inferno, so when I just see that I instinctively think a piece of content on release. Like Inferno was, don't get me wrong, Inferno was a phenomenal update for release. You know, everybody was wanting to do it. Everybody was racing. Everybody was like thinking it was so hype seeing Wooks get his cape and he teleports to G, shows his world. It caps out in 20 seconds flat because everybody's rushing to the G saying Wooks won, Wooks won, Wooks won. It was so hype, and it's just like. So that was great, but believe me, I didn't fucking try the Inferno on release. I was like, no, I was like, that sucks, you know? Like it's 70 waves of me like trying to learn all this stuff that like Wooks is like on release. I was like, man, like I don't really want to do that. Mostly just because it was really fucking long. And so like I think for something like this where the reward isn't like incredibly necessary, and it's only split into 12 waves, I can see this being a lot more like palatable for people. Like I just, you know, new piece of content, 12 waves, fuck it, let me go in there. Even if I don't have an Infernal cape, like then it's even quicker. Like I can do 8 waves, 4 waves, and then I try my hand at it, get a quick little taste, and if it's good, it's good. Maybe practice, do more. So I like the fact that it's short. Hopefully it's really engaging to make up for that though. Because if it's short and it's not very engaging, then, well, that's not a good combo.
People are going to snooze.
Yeah, hopefully it has some replayability. Because like Inferno has a lot of people really interested in speedrunning. Also has a really, really cool pet that lots of people want to go back in for. So hopefully either the GP will be good or it's fun that people will just want to keep going back into it. That's kind of my main concern. But everything I've seen makes it look amazing.
Yeah,
so.
I'm really excited for it. I'm not sure when it's going to come out, and I'm not sure if they're still locked into the idea of doing it. They should do it. Like, it seems really interesting, and I hope to God they don't just scrap it.
Yeah, from the sounds of it, I think it will be a lot of replayability because of Yanji rewards. Reminds me of Gauntlet a little bit. doing this over and over again. But obviously harder and less grindy than Gauntlet, for sure. But I'm curious to see how they do mechanics that aren't just prey flicking, but take strategy. I'm really curious to see what they do for that.
That'll be interesting. And you're gonna go in naked too, right? Or
Do
go
you?
with gear? I'm
I
not
imagine
sure.
gear.
I assumed gear.
Assumed gear? Okay. I don't remember how it was pitched, if it was like you shit like upgrades as you do it or not. Or if it's just you go in with gear.
Also, we might finally get rings that can compete with Berserker and Lightbearer. Which would be cool.
Oh. Yeah, because Lightbearer is now the fucking king.
Yeah. It's the king of stuff that isn't melee. Yeah.
Give us the Brimzerker.
Yeah, true.
I just really am fawning over the fucking Lightbearer though. Like it's so this is a key example of them like thinking of unconventional ways to make something good. Because usually they just like I'm gonna stick more stats on it or something like that, right? But like this is like they thought of something creative. They thought of something that's gonna apply in a variety of scenarios, and now look, it's now maybe it's a little too dominant. It overshadows like a lot of these things, but it's like the Sears ring is still useful with the shadow. Like that's cool. I see people using a Lightbearer fucking PKing. Like that's cool, you know? It's like there are niche scenarios where you use your thing. Like I'm still using a fucking suffering is still useful in its scenarios, right? The Berserker is useful in the scenarios. You can have the fucking Sears ring is useful in its scenarios. You have a ring of endurance, a ring of gods. Those are useful in their own scenarios. But it's like just to see this ring come in and be like so widely and diversely applied is like it's like yes, that's what I was fucking looking for. Jagex, you can make something better with not just like stats. It's really creative, and I like the approach they did for it.
Oh yeah.
Same thing with the Fang. It's like I'm not just like insanely fucking strong. I'm just really accurate. And it's not just like I added stats to it. It's like, oh, it rolls accuracy twice. It's like, oh, they're using their brains to think of some new cool ways to do it. It's nice.
Anything else?
I really like that risk.
Oh.
I really like the risk mechanic because there's not really anything like that in the game, right? The worst risk you have is GP loss on like a wipe. So like with ToA you lose 500k. That sucks.
I remembered with Tob when they were like, okay, so mid Tob run, like you would like get a chest and gives you loot. It doesn't give you loot, it gives you fucking pots to continue to run.
Yeah, that's not loot.
Yeah, like,
you get like 50k loot potions. What do you mean?
Ooh,
Like all our stores.
No.
Staminas.
Yo, for Iron Man, that's huge loot.
I think that's an interesting thing to do, is having it like in the middle of it, you can like get loot for it. But at least now it's like, okay, you want to keep going though, you gotta like put in your loot, and if you die, bye. So I think that's pretty cool.
Definite Telos vibes. Definitely.
Yeah, definitely Telos vibes. It'd be cool to see something like with an actual enrage thing, but the closest thing we've got right now is Invocations.
If this is random and I have the choice of leaving my loot in after I complete wave 12 and doing another for increased loot, that'd be pretty cool. Because then you'd still like, it's not guaranteed because it's random. You'd never perfectly learn it. That'd be very cool.
Ooh, that would be interesting.
Be interesting.
Also, give us a Baba-based boss that can just kill you through prayer.
If he hits you through prayer, you're dead. Unlucky.
No more Babas, please. Baba hurts. Alright, I think I have one more question we'll ask and then we'll wrap up the stream. And that will be, what is our thoughts on the Wildy boss rework that they've pitched? As well as, like, the new post that they did with all, like, the new items and stuff.
A boss rework?
I thought you were the PKing guy. Oh no!
Oh, you said Wildy, and I was like, what the fuck is the Wildy?
Alright, I'll say Wilderness next time. Sorry.
Yeah. Wildy. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, the Wildy boss rework sounds cool. They're bringing back Karasi, which is very interesting because Karasi is well, the big use for Karasi back in the day was just it was an edge PKing weapon, and I don't know about you guys, but the current edge PKing scene is dead. Like, you go to there's no edge. There's no there's not even a GE PvP world scene anymore. Like, you log there, it's fucking DMers. There's nobody edge peeking at all. So it's weird because now you're that was the main use of the Karasi back in the day. It was, like, I'm fucking World 302, I'm World 318, not 302. I was World 2 or World 318 PKing with that shit. And now it's like you don't have it. So now the only uses of it are going to be like, oh, I got to use it like Rev Caves. I got to use it like Deep Wildy. And that's going to be cool because now we're going to see something where people are kind of like forced to take a lot of melee switches. Conventionally, you've always been like, once you're Deep Wildy, it's not about, like, melee's not worth. You got to take too many switches to make it fucking to make it any significant source of DPS. Like, you're not going to take a fucking whip. Most of the time, you'd catch a guy with an Infernal Cape, and that's about it. Infernal Cape AGS, that's what you're doing. But now, like, we might be seeing, because, Karasi basically calculates its damage off of your melee max hit. It's like, now people like Dino's like a very rare breed. He takes like he'll take like fucking Berserker Ring, Infernal Cape, and Ferocious Gloves for the spec. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, alright, shit. It's like, this type of switch is now going to be rewarded, which I think is really cool. Because now it's like, oh, well, you're just not gonna spec that hard with the Karasi otherwise. The thing about Karasi too is, like, a lot of people didn't really understand why it was good before. People used to call Karasi a prod weapon. It's like, you're prodding because you're using Karasi. It's like, no, you fucking dumbass. It doesn't spec twice like Claws does. It doesn't have as high a max hit as AGS. You can't whack with it afterwards. None of that was why it was strong. The reason why it was strong is because Karasi is a guaranteed hit. It meant that if you knew what the fuck you were doing, like, it's not just, I chanced you or I gigged you. It's, I killed you because, like, I'm almost always hitting a 40 or a 50. And if I'm giggling you, you're gonna fucking die. Like, because I don't hit zeros. I just do not hit zeros with Karasi. And it's like, that's the cool aspect of it. So we're going to see Karasi get used in some ways that we don't usually, I think we can predict how it's going to be used. Just because, like, basically in Rev Caves, if you ever giga somebody, they're just dead. Which is going to be really fun. Which is going to be really, really fun. But it's certainly losing its most popular use, which used to be edge peeking or anti-rushing. But you're not going to have that anymore. Nobody fucking rushes. And I guess the other thing too that's kind of cool, worth noting, is their fucking Karasi used to have a really shit multi attack. So if you were multi and you would Karasi spec, like, the damage used to be split and you'd hit like a 5 across 3 different people. And I think they got rid of that, but I'm not sure. If they did just copy paste it, that's gonna be hilarious. Like, some motherfucker's gonna take it in multi.
Yeah, that would be something.
But Karasi itself is something I'm very happy to see. Bit of nostalgia, bit of a change, gonna help out the PvP scene a little bit. Get some interest going again.
Yeah.
The thing about the caves itself, I've seen a lot of people worried about, like, oh, are people gonna lock down the caves or whatever.
Right.
Probably. I'm still probably gonna do it on release because it sounds like fun. I think big updates like this are just, like, people misunderstand the whole thing about like doing shit in the Wildy. It's not about, like, fucking, I gotta make the most money or whatever. It's just like, have fun with the boys, go around and do some dumb shit, like, I wanna just get, like, a shit ton of people on stream and just fucking start rushing it. let's see what happens, bro.
Let's all over again?
Oh yeah, the free to play PvP
Holy.
world. So basically what happened was I got my stream and I got like 20 people or whatever to get up in free-to-play gear, and we started going to Callisto and trying to kill Callisto PvMers in fucking full rune and rune arrows. And Addy arrows. An actual clan tried to rush us a little bit. Well, not a clan. It was just like a group of people who didn't really know what they were doing. Just basic mystic sets and shit. We actually managed to kill them. in our fucking no prayer potion, fucking Addy Arrow, green D'hide, and maple shortbow. But that's what the Wildy's about, right? It's about doing some dumb shit, having some fun.
Yeah.
And I think having this wilderness rework, which is long overdue, is going to be cool. We're going to see that. I like the escape mechanic. It still makes it so you can chase people, but it's not mega easy to predict. And but the main reason I would say this is overdue is just because the Wildy bosses are just shit. They're just shit, and everybody fucking knows it.
The stats on
Venenatus
them are just
one hits
stupid.
me. Yeah, Venenatus one hits me from 100. Callisto kills me every like fucking 3 hits because it has like no cooldown on hitting a 60 through prayer. What the fuck? And at range, what the fuck am I supposed to do about that?
You just die. You just die.
Yeah, and like it was fine back in the day, like really back in the day, because 100 dragon bones off of Vedion was bank loot. You know, it used to really be some of the best money in the game before, and then but now it's like dragon bones are 1k each. You know, like 100 birds nests or 100 snapdragons. Why am I doing that? I can go kill like I don't know Vorkath or Hydra or do any other boss in the game and make more money. So like these bosses needed something to change because they were good once upon a time, not even good design wise, but just at least they were worth their while before. Now they're not even worth their while and they're shit. So we really need this fucking update. Otherwise,
it also brings a multi-place back in the Wildy because there's no place to really multi-PK nowadays. Like
when they got rid of revs.
the only multi-PK that really happens is like baiting people in and just killing them with a team.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like there's no team clashes, right?
And if you have any +1 right now, Raw's taking kids for staffs and 9 mil AGSs. It's like oh okay, but you know fucking power to it. But definitely multi revs was very 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 fun. Like multi revs was great for the PvP scene in the sense that you could run like you could know nothing about PKing and you could get into it. You could have the most fun in your life. I tried to teach 2 PVMers. Like I didn't try to teach them how to PK. I literally just said, "Bro, you guys don't know what." Like they always hated PKing, and I was like, "Bro, just try it. Like it's gonna be a little fun. We can go in. You don't want to risk? Fine. Your set is 100k. We're pulling up in salad robes, a DDS. You can take a rune crossbow." Right? You risk nothing. You run around in the rev caves. You go kill a couple people, and it's fucking hilarious. Right?
Yeah,
it's just funny. So it's like it really sparks that camaraderie and like teamwork and friendship again. And it's just like it sucks to see that side of the game is really getting fucking neutered. But this is hopefully the way to bring it back a little bit.
And the nice thing is they're not like locking it behind multi because there's 2 types of caves. There's like the single one and the multi one.
Yeah,
like if you really don't want to fucking get dicked down by like rot or something, then it's like you can or like you want to pet hunt. Like you can do the whatever the other one is, the nerf down version or something. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, it might cut boosters though, because like there's a lot of boosting methods for Vedion, Callisto, and I guess Venenatus, but
Scorpia's my favorite.
that one
10 boosters.
Scorpia's gonna be fine. It's fine, but like I used to do a little bit of Callisto boosting before I realized that place is the fucking worst hot zone ever. Because every time I do it now, all my accounts just get hit every time. Maybe it's different now, but I used to do it a bit for bingos and shit.
I guess I don't really mind the whole boosting thing as much, just because boosting, I mean, one, it's it's already kind of artificial. It wasn't really, but more so that like the main problem with them being needed to boost is the bosses were shit, right? Like really, the drop rate is the lowest pet drop rate out of a lot of the bosses, right? Like 1 in 2,000 is not. I think it's 1 in 2,000 for most of them.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not the worst thing in the world, right? People camp bosses that have way worse drop rates. and they're fine with it. The real problem is, well, one, yeah, you can die to PKs or whatever, but we'll ignore that because that's the Wildy. The bigger problem is that the fucking boss itself has 500 defense and is killing you, and you have to spend a fucking minute safe spotting it every time. That's why we need boosters for it, because it's fucking shit. So, I mean, the whole point of this is hopefully they fix the mechanics a little bit. I don't get one hit from full health. You don't have fucking 500 defense, and I don't have to spend a minute safe spotting you every time.
Yeah.
If they can fix those aspects, then if boosting gets shafted a little, I don't think people are going to care that much.
You know, Vedion was like 20 kills per hour, is like 20 kills per hour, and then it's like in multi. It's like, oh, this is reasonable. Sure.
Yeah, so, like, what is the fun in fucking luring it over and over again, killing it twice, killing both hounds, killing. It's so.
Do it again.
It's like, oh my god.
Do it again.
Yeah.
They get hit before you even kill it. That's the most fun.
Yeah.
Boss was good once upon a time. Not anymore. Sorry, not boss. I need to clarify. The money at the boss was good once upon a time. Not anymore.
Yeah.
No reason to do it.
It's just pet hunter incentive. You're going for all pets, you gotta do it. That's it. But I guess I am happy to see a bit more love. The weapons will be interesting to see how they work, at least some of the specs. The Karasi, I'm not sure if there's gonna be a PvM aspect for the Karasi, but you know how it is. You only get to really see if there is a way for it to be useful by actually doing content with it, right? So who knows? Maybe someone will find a use for it. And then maybe there'll be some use for specs with the new staff. I'm hoping it ends up being really solid in some places. Maybe Vest Portal. I don't know. Hard to say.
Yeah, I forgot they were adding like all this other stuff. I think some of it was a little weird. Some of it might be a little overpowered or whatever. But I did see the staff, and I was like, oh, this thing is finally not going to be worth dog shit.
Yeah, because the staff
Oh
sucked
my
fucking
God.
dick.
It'll be an item people know exists, maybe.
Yeah. Finally.
Like, someone was talking about Thameron earlier, and I didn't know why we were talking about it. Like, I actually forgot what it was. I was like, what happened? Oh, what the fuck is that? Isn't that like
A Thammer, what's it?
Yeah, it's
People
like
asking me like, what is that thing in your bang? I'm like, it's a Thameron Scepter. I'm like, what the fuck is that? I'm like, oh, it's a mage weapon no one uses. I just have it just for the sake of having it.
I think the last thing, or the thing I'll touch upon on those, is like the spec bar on all the items is kind of crazy. I don't remember what all the specs do and which ones are too crazy, but the crossbow with the spec bar is going to be fucking wild. Revs are going to be scary if you don't want to hit no PvMers anywhere, because you never know what this fucker's like. Because we're already seeing a, oh my god, can I find the Shawnee clip? I would love to show you guys this Shawnee clip. It's so fucking, please tell me this is it. Oh, yes. Okay, so, like, right now we're already seeing a case where people are like, oh, you can't fucking fight back as a PvMer or whatever. It's like, that is getting less and less true by the day. Now, currently, people are anti-rushing or, like, fighting back against, like, max PKers dressed as, like, West Ham does this a lot. He dresses up as a fucking Veti. You can take Sido. Oh, click on that clip.
Wait,
Oh my god, this is Shawnee. I posted it in
it's
the
Discord. Okay, let's see if I can.
Yeah.
Application frame host.
Just watch it.
Does it have audio or no audio?
No audio.
Let me just share it because it's easier for me to just share it in here. So let me go share it in here real quick. Everyone to watch. Okay. So we got. Oh, let me start from the beginning. Okay, here we go. What the fuck? He's dead. He's dead.
Yeah. No, this is what
What the fuck?
this is the new thing. This is what everybody's doing. They're anteing kids for max with ACB specs because or like weird shit like that, because it's fucking like, you can fight back as a PvMer. You just need to know a little bit about what you're doing, and that is gonna become even more so the case. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, this is some weird shit. This is fucking weird shit that only like Shawnee's going for. But like Shawnee and Blazer are trying to do this dumb shit, and it cracks me up every time they get a max kill. But fucking what? Oh yeah, it's gonna become way more common when they stick a spec bar on crossbow, because a 3-tick bow that hits from long range and is just constantly chipping away at your health, and you have a spec bar on it. Like
I want
any
tickets.
motherfucker. Yeah, it's just so easy. It's just so easy, and you can also manipulate distance super easy with a crossbow. You can do no arrows and shit. It's like you're gonna fuck kids up, dude. You don't want to hit a PvM with a crossbow when he's got a spec bar on him, man. It's gonna be weird. Because there are already cases where there's no spec bar on it already, and people is like relatively new PKers are still dying to that. So, like when it does have a spec bar, it's gonna be wild. It's gonna be funny as fuck. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see how that goes, because that's gonna be, maybe it's a little overpowered, but I don't think it's really that overpowered.
It will be interesting, and I'm kind of curious to see what kind of applications it will be. Probably some niche case applications for all those items outside of the wilderness. Someone will find a way to make it super good. But anything else we want to add on top of that, guys? Anything at all?
Well, I mean, they should release it ASAP, as I can say.
I mean, they're releasing a beta for it, right? So it should be coming up pretty soon. I think that's what they said. They're doing a beta for the Wildy stuff.
There's a beta, right? There's a beta.
Yeah, they're doing a beta for it. So people can fuck with it.
Wow,
But then again, I'm gonna be stuck in ToA. You already know I'm a PvM nerd. PvP, not in my ballpark unless we're doing some meme tier shit. That's the only time I see you do it.
There's gonna be a fucking Inferno beta world then, huh?
I see where this is going.
Only thing we care about with betas, dude. That's it. Free Inferno.
Dude. That's gonna be so weird too. A main thing I want is I just want the max cape, bro. Now that I've tasted the max cape, that is so ridiculous.
Yeah, you kind of need it now.
Alright, guys. Let's see. So we need what? Kirby and Hemmiez need to get some max capes real quick?
Yo, do rune crafting for me, and I'll do smithing.
Those are maxed?
How? What kind of a trade-off is that? I have to do.
Well, if you do smithing, you have to shit yourself at some point. So the skill.
That is a given. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Maxing's not
good trade-off.
Only did it because I had nothing better to do. Then I was kind of burnt from going in for the omelet like long ago. I was like, I'm just gonna max real quick, and then after I'm done with that, I'll go back to getting the omelet.
No, I don't skill. I don't do that. I have a cape already.
Alright, guys. So on that note, I think it is time to call it quits for the stream. If you guys would be so kind enough to like start collecting your socials real quick while I kind of do the outro, I would be very grateful, so that you guys can share the socials in the chat, show them. If you want to follow them, you can follow them. So please, if you do that while I'm doing the outro, I'd be grateful. I feel bad because I didn't have it all preset, but I'm not gonna lie, I kind of procrastinated a bit today. I was doing some shit before the stream, and then turns out tying a tie is a lot harder than I thought, because I don't know, I couldn't do it today. I was like, I look at the time, it's like 6:50. I'm like, fuck! Alright, fuck the time. Just run, and I ran straight downstairs. And it was just doomed. It was just doomed. That's why I don't have a tie.
I'll have to put a guy on my channel for you.
Yeah. But
get the clip on next time.
Thank you guys so much for joining me today. As per usual, it is always a pleasure to be joined with the hosts, Mr. Hemmiez, Kirby, and the beautiful rabbit himself, Toyota. And I am so honored to have been able to talk with the big brains on Poenari and Mr. Gnomonkey. I just hope that everyone's time here was a good time.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Thanks for having us.
Yep.
Pretty cringe. But besides that, sorry.
Can't wait for Butterfingers.
I kind of want to do more podcast stuff in the future, but it's kind of hard when this is all about PvM, and trying to do something like this every week is hard. But let's just say I might have something cooking up that won't be as big like the State of PvM, but it'll be something to highlight some pretty cool PvMers. So we'll talk about that later down the line, boys. But looking forward to that. I'm gonna DM someone and see if they might be interested. I remember I DM'd Poenari about it a long time ago. It was gonna be something called like, I don't know the title for it, but it's just gonna be talking like one-on-one with big PvMers in the scene, and talking about a lot of different things. Just because it's kind of nice to do like a one-on-one. But yeah, I'm gonna put my socials real quick. So you want to follow my shit, here it is, and you want to see more inting, Of course, this isn't really much into. This is me inting in the vocal aspect. Then you can follow my stream. I'm going to start reading off of the shit on the dashboard because I know a lot of people were following. I just had it muted because I didn't want it to end up in the VOD. I'm so sorry. But I'll start from the top. Thanks for the raid, Rixie. Thank you for the raid, Mr. Saxpillar. Thank you so much for the gifted Miss Mocha to DV Yugi. Thank you for the follow on the focus. RXI, Got Some Candy, Kaido's Axiom, Jobber Null 12, DV Yugi, fucking Tommy, Rage Cold, Super Sanic RS, Pure 7 Mood, Lucid Dream. Thank you so much for the raid again. GNN FPS has followed. Thank you so much. And also thanks to Mr. Pure 7 Mood for the subscription. Thank you for the follow, Queen Frisky. Thank you for the follow, Kuro Mash. And thank you so much for the 5 gifted Pure 7 Mood. Thank you, Bananed Wedge, Uploading RS, Drinks, Resident Nix, and Cavi Mookie. Welcome to the tool shed, everybody. Now, if we can start with the socials, if someone would be so kind to post their socials and, you know, do a quick little outro for themselves, feel free to do so.
I mean, I only use Discord, so I'm done.
I'll do my thingy. Sure.
I have
Gnomonkey,
YouTube.
if you'd be so kind.
Here we go. Here's the YouTube channel. I make guides, and I've done some discussion videos. I'll probably be working on a ToA guide soon. Probably. Been streaming a lot. Speaking of which, I have a stream. That guy right there. It's been blowing up. We're going for the 500 run, so
This man's gonna be 10K by the end of his
send a
month.
follow. I might. It's actually insane.
It's actually crazy. Yeah, your stream's been fucking blowing up. I love it, dude. You deserve it. You deserve it. Mr. Hemorrhoids, if you'd be so kind to put your socials next.
Yeah, I stream. What am I doing right now? I'm doing like a fucking solo of purple from every raid or something. I've been I'd say the biggest thing is definitely though that like I run tournaments, I run crazy events, I run these little creative things that I really love hosting on the side. And if you want to see those are on the YouTube. And we do have like some really big videos on like fucking 1.3 bill high risk TOB tournament. Dropped a trailer for it that was fucking dope. Oh my god, the trailer, the highlight video, yeah, everybody's watching. We had 3 clans, we had fucking 8 content creators. We ran a second tournament. We're running all these different crazy little things. You don't know what high risk TOB is. You don't know what high risk Chambers is. We're gonna have high risk ToA probably by the end of the month.
That's what I was gonna ask about. Is it gonna be a high risk ToA?
Probably. That's probably. I mean, I was literally gonna talk. I'm gonna talk to you guys about it off stream, but we're probably running high risk ToA. By the end of the month, I want to work on some. It's just weird because you need to work out like a proper rule set that discourages wiping. Because like what invocation do you run? You don't want to run 300 because if you want to maximize killing potential, right? So if I can kill 6 of us, well, 2 of us need to be able to fucking complete the raid left, right? But it's also a problem because like that means okay, our invocation level has to be pretty low. But if it's pretty low, then what if it's just too easy? Right? So like I'm trying to strike this weird balance where it's like you can clear but you can kill. And I think something that's between it's probably going to be like a 150 to 200 run with the highest or with the most AIDS invocations on.
Yeah, like no brew. That'd be interesting.
Dude, max paths for damage and HP.
Yeah, I just want it to be chaotic. I want to see a lot of people killing each other, and I don't want to wipe all the time because nobody likes watching wipes. The wipes are pretty boring. So, well, but yeah, I would highly encourage that if you want to see something, go check out the 1.3 bill high risk TOB tournament, or even the trailer because the trailer was fucking juiced. So juiced.
Wait, Noobtab's in my chat right now. Noobtab, why are you not fucking streaming right now, you rat? Hello? People want to see more of the 5'10" man himself. Mr. Kirby, if you'd be so kind to post your socials next.
Sure, we got all these. I'm on Twitch, I'm on Twitter, I'm on YouTube, I'm on Discord. I mean, I've just been streaming, you know, ToA prize, but that's what I've been streaming. I'm probably gonna do my 500 tomorrow. But yeah, I just do speedrun, do challenges, I do shenanigans. That's what I do. And yeah, I know for my CA guys on YouTube for combat achievements. And I'll probably do some sort of guide related videos for ToA. I don't know for what. Maybe when the CA videos come out. I was debating that doing either a 450 or 500 guide. I don't know. Someone else does it first.
450 seems like a good one, but 500 would also be good. But then again, we're not sure what changes are going to be coming next week, so it'll be on
True, that's what.
first. Yeah.
That's what I'm like. I don't want to invest too much time right now, but if I did, it could be like a quick. I don't know. I go over one of my runs, do a live commentary. Who knows? I'll see. There's been a lot of like interest in a lot of things I've been hearing from my chat, so I'll probably make some ToA related videos soon that aren't just my runs live, but actually me giving info to people. But yeah, can check me out there, and I'll probably be in the future going for some speedrun times with the new gear, proving my Zelda record. I need to do that at some point.
Oh yeah, man needs to make sure he keeps his record.
Oh yeah.
All right, Mr. Poenari, would you like to post your socials real quick, sir?
Sure. I'm not much of a content creator, but I make approximately one YouTube video a year about something I'm really passionate about. So a couple of the last ones have taken me about 6 months each to make. Yeah, so I post some of my cool achievements on Twitter, but I don't have to work on that many things. But yeah, you can check them out.
He is a very cracked player, and he's always trying to push the boundaries, just like people like Perkazard. So please show some love to the man Poenari. He deserves it. Big brains like him.
He's got that silky smooth voice. Oh.
He's also got a giant cock. I don't want to tell you guys how I know.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
True.
All right, guys. Any last words before we call it for tonight and raid somebody?
Nope.
Thanks for having us. It was great.
Thank you so much for joining me.
Hope you guys enjoyed it.
This time I'm gonna make
these.
sure I actually upload this with timestamps. For the last two, I was too lazy to do it. I swear to God, this one's gonna have timestamps. If not, I will post my nudes on Shaman Hub. That is all. All right, so I'm actually this raid I'm gonna do is kind of a raid for a homie, because what he did was I thought was really cool. During Noob Type's Invocation run stream, he raided them, so I think it's only fair to raid him back. So I'm gonna send you guys over to Puggin, so please say hello from the Tool Shed and from all us podcast boys. So everybody, have a fantastic night, all right? And we will see you all in the future, all right? Goodbye, everybody.
Peace.